reaction shots for what month?
Or May.
We're in June, but it's May. This is for May. We're doing it on June 4th because SGF has been insane and half of us have been sick.
Yes.
Mostly just Matt, I guess. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm
sorry
alive.
to out you for having been sick.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It'll explain why I'm dragging today. I'm dragging, not rushing.
Yeah. Not quite my tempo.
Classic.
I'm your host, Isla Hink. This is your host, Matt Walden. And this is your host, Michael Huber.
Hello.
All these M names, I get confused.
M Night.
M names Shyamalan. This month we're doing kind of just like a, I don't know, Q1 catch-up.
Q1.
Basically, 2025, but not necessarily just from 2025.
Yeah.
They're just favorites. Recent favorites. What have you liked recently? Matt and I did some like homework, kind of. I watched one of his all-time favorite movies. He watched one of my all-time favorite movies. I guess he maybe watched one of your all-time favorite movies. So that's cool.
Hell yeah.
And then, we're just going to hear from people, from our patrons at patreon.com/reactionshots. So normally we start with like, what have you liked? What have you seen lately? But that's the whole damn sode.
Yeah.
But we usually go first ourselves. So I guess we'll do that this time.
Cool.
Huber, what do you got?
Lately?
Yeah.
That I watched lately. We are doing that.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
I see how I confused you.
Sorry. I watched the Police Story films with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, those are so good.
1 through 4. 3 and 4, unfortunately, were the somewhat butchered dubs. Those are very nearly impossible to find the original versions unless you have hard copies. And then I also watched Once Upon a Time in China 1 through 3, which fortunately are on Max Criterion. And then also Fist of Legend.
You had a party.
Yeah, and Fist of Legend. Yeah, I went full fucking martial arts extravaganza.
Oh my god, that's so fun. Because I've watched those, but all spread out over the course of multiple years. But to pack it all in recently.
Packed them all.
Oh my
Once Upon a Time in China is so good. Do not skip these. These are available on HBO. There are 6 of them. Jet Li is in the first 3 and the last one. And then I think some contract stuff prevented him from being in 4 and 5. But the creator of it all pretty much does like everything. Writes, directs. And they're in the late 1800s China. And it's Jet Li's like big, breakout. He had been in like 1 or 2 or like 3 really, really small things before that.
Yeah.
But like... the movies are just so good because, one, you just get, like, the best martial arts possible. It's Yuen Ping, who does, so much American success. But just, like, the political landscape of these movies. Like, what country owns what? Who is here? Who is there? There's a lot of just, like, overt racism and stuff in the movie. It is just, like, historically such an interesting time and place. And it's all, grounded with Jet Li and Rosamund Kwan, who is 13th
auntie. Yeah, 13th auntie.
Legendary.
There's a lot of aunties in these movies, but 13th auntie.
Yes.
Which is the best auntie of all the numbers, is 13th. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude. Yeah, these movies are just so incredible. And I mean, they're on Criterion for a reason. Criterion doesn't put garbage on their stuff.
Yeah.
So highly recommend those. And then I did Fist of Legend, which came out right after Once Upon a Time in China 3. He did 1, 2, 3, and then Fist of Legend. Also, Yuen Ping, who did Once Upon a Time in China 1 and 2, skipped 3, came back to team up in Fist of Legend. And I actually think this is in the conversation for greatest martial arts film of all time. Easily. The fight scenes, the vibe, like Jet Li, like the difference between Jackie Chan and Jet Li is so fun because Jackie Chan will use props and have so much fun in the fight scenes, and he'll just do things you've never seen before. Whereas on the other hand, Jet Li is just like a traditional master. Like, you just want to see the best possible martial arts. Like, fucking Jet Li, Fist of Legend, do it. It's so good.
The fights are the focus with Jet Li, whereas Jackie Chan is everything, you know.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, you're rooting for so hard, which I like Jet Li also. Like, he's a charismatic, great character to watch, but like, obviously Jackie Chan just has that empathy and that love, and you just want to you want to root for him more than anybody. So.
Didn't Jackie Chan, you know those like songs that are at the beach at the beginning of all the Once Upon a Time in China? I think Jackie Chan wrote
the theme song.
Jackie Chan wrote that theme song or performs them.
He performs it for the end credits of number 2.
Okay, yeah, which is a cool connection. Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in China 2 has a really, really incredible connection because you have Jackie Chan singing the end credits, and then it also stars Jet Li and Donnie Yen. And it's Yin Wu Ping, so it's like all of these Hong Kong
legends are
martial
legends to
arts
be,
legends are just like coming together for that movie. Like, oh my god, they're so good.
They're cool. Great. Are you into like Hong Kong action films? Have you gotten the bug yet, or?
You know, I've seen a few, but like I got more into the like Ip Man, like
Love Ip Man.
Tony Jaa, like give him the bows
Sure,
kind of
Ong
stuff.
Bak Protector.
Ong Bak Protector. Like I got in that era, and then I got in on like Wire Fu in a big way. You know, so like more like kind of that stuff. The older stuff like Hard Target, Police Story, whatever. Like I haven't done as much.
Shout out Hard Target.
But yeah, I it's a blind spot for me. But I definitely, you know, appreciate it.
Fist of Legends really also another historically fascinating film on real life and in cinema because it's a remake of a Bruce Lee movie. So Bruce Lee played that character who is a made-up character but is the apprentice of a real life martial arts master.
Oh.
Which is Jet Li's movies Fearless. So Fist of Legend is kind of a sequel to Fearless, which ended up coming out in 2006. Donnie Yen also plays the Fist of Legend character. So like Donnie Yen, Jet Li, and Bruce Lee all play this one character. Just really fascinating stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm in love with the genre. Like,
me
still,
too.
like I could keep
too.
exploring and discovering
Forever.
new things, and that's a treasure. Yeah.
Okay. And the last one, I'm sorry. I got to see Karate
can
Kid
say as much
Legends
as you want.
with Damiani.
Oh yeah.
And
wait, should we get Damiani in here?
dude, if you want to talk about it
Hang
for a
on,
sec.
I'll go see.
It was good. It was good. It was so wholesome.
How connected is it to Cobra Kai? Because I love Cobra Kai, and I listened to you and Damiani do your wrap up, which was incredible. But
so
like, does it feel connected? Because I know he's in there. Yeah.
He's in there, Matthew, and unfortunately, he didn't need to be. He actively kind of brings the movie down.
Well, he was kind of a weak spot in Cobra Kai, actually, a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, he's awesome, but he was like the lower tier actor of the bunch. Yeah.
Yep. He actively kind of brings the movie down. It's a little forced. Joshua Jackson is in this movie, and I didn't know Joshua Jackson was going to be in it. And I feel like they gave half of Joshua Jackson's storyline to Ralph Macchio to connect it to the Cobra Kai universe and all that. Because the original The Karate Kid reboot with Jackie Chan and Smith was not connected. It was an official reboot, and it was only later until this one came out that they then retconned that one into being part of the larger universe.
Yeah,
Damiani is embroiled in a thing, but he said in maybe 15, 20 minutes he might be able to pop in.
Awesome.
So I said just burst in at some point.
Cool. Yeah. The Ben Wang, I believe his name is, the kid actor in this movie, immediate Lifetime fan obsessed.
Oh, wow.
Immediate.
Nice.
I was so invested in this kid. He does a ton of his own martial arts. He's so lovable. He was like freaking Peter Parker vibes. Like,
I read that it kind of felt like a Spider-Man deal.
It did. Yeah. He's wearing like a red sweatshirt half the movie. It's in New York. I was like, dude, this is a Spider-Man movie. Yeah.
It's Canada,
Super
New
good.
York. It's like a fake New York.
Yeah.
New Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really, really.
I mean, I
loved it.
feel like with a movie like that, like it all kind of hinges on the kid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta have a good Karate Kid, or your Karate Kid movie's gonna suck.
The Karate Kid was sick. He was so good. He was so good. Blown away by how good he was. I was like, the movie kept going on, and I was like, dude, I'm so obsessed with this kid. Oh my God, please be okay, kid. I'm on your side, kid. Like, yeah, loved it.
Well, if Damiani pops in, we can hear some more about it too.
For sure.
Matt, you got anything?
Oh yeah,
you got?
oh yeah, I got tons. Well,
Ooh,
let me start off with
we
Huber's.
go.
Okay.
Because
This is Huber's special treat?
yeah, Huber's special treat.
excited
Because
about
I watched the Limey for you, and
Yeah,
we'll get
and I
into
watched
the
Jules and
Limey.
Jim, yeah.
So I was like, well, I don't want to not watch something for Huber because it just seems only fair. And I remember, at the end of last year, Huber was going through his favorite movies, and he mentioned Smile 2.
Yes!
And I had seen Smile 1, and I'll be honest, not the hugest fan of Smile 1 because it was creepy, but I felt the mood was so dour. It was a downer. It's a downer movie.
So depressing.
It's
Dark,
really
yeah.
depressing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I
my
want to
God.
love this movie, but God, it's bringing me down because the
It's
subject matter is so heavy. And then so I watched Smile 2. I was like, fuck it, let's give Smile 2 a roll of the dice. Smile 2 is fun.
It is
Smile
the
2
best.
is fun. It's creative. It's beautiful to look at.
Dude.
So many sequence. And Smile 2 is heavy. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah.
the subject matter definitely deal with a lot of the same topics, and I can't say it necessarily treats them responsibly, but you're having so much fun that you're just like, fuck it, this is a fun movie. And like you described a lot of it. It's about a pop star who has gone through something tragic, and it slowly unveils more of this tragedy as the movie goes on. She's trying to turn over a new chapter in her life, but the smile demon just latches on
So
to her,
intense.
starts fucking with her, and like there's so many colorful sequences. And Huber, my favorite one, I'm sure you know what I'm gonna mention here, is in the hotel room when there's
Oh
like
my
red
God.
light, green light. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it's like and she
So-
turns and like, what's happening? And they
I just
stop.
got chills. Yeah, I just got chills. Oh my god.
And there's like maybe like 15 of these things in the room. Yeah.
What did
Oh,
you think
it's
of her performance? I thought it was one of the great
Oh, it's
horror
great.
performances of the last 10 years.
Oh, it's fantastic. And I didn't recognize her really. I was mentioning this to Jessica. I was like, I'm not familiar with Naomi Scott. And I'd seen the Charlie's Angels like reboot, and I knew she was in that. And I think that's honestly like a pretty fun movie. We'd seen that a couple times just because it's a nice mix of comedy, action, spy stuff. But there's like, she carried that movie for sure, and the pop music was good.
It was
like, I think
good,
that's
it was
important.
good, yeah,
The songs are good. It's kind of like
she's like a
Trap, where
singer.
you
Yeah.
You need this. Yeah, Trap, I was like actually pretty surprised by
Yeah.
how decent the music was.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like
this
Trap, where
fictional
you kind of need the pop music to be interesting. You need the costumes to be interesting. You need the choreography, where they're like kind of flipping her in these cartwheels, that kind of stuff to be
Totally.
interesting.
Cool
and
costumes.
all of that's good. Like, yeah. And it does some fakery of like, is this real? Is this really happening? Where I felt like, okay, that wasn't necessarily fair. But again, like to the audience, where you're just like, you kind of fucked with me. Was this all a dream? Was this part not a dream? But again, you're having so much fun. And that's what's important in a movie like this. Am I having a good time?
So
The
much
answer
fun.
is yes. And so you just go along with it. Fun ass movie. Loved
Hell
it.
yeah.
I've talked
Hell
to
yeah.
Jessica, saw me watching it. She's like, why are you watching it? Didn't you hate the first one? And I'm like, it looks fun. And then I've mentioned it multiple times over the last couple days. Like, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
It was an experience type movie for sure. I remember driving home, and it was one of those movies that like followed me home, where I was like simultaneously hyped and a little nervous. I was like, dude, I gotta get home. I just gotta get home. I'm like, safe. Okay.
Oh yeah, Yeah, there's a lot of car stuff in that movie too. For sure. You do not want to drive home from that movie. I was lucky I was already stationed at home. So Smile 2. So happy I watched that. I watched Ugly Stepsister. Wish I didn't see that movie. I was really looking forward to it because that looks like my kind of movie.
Wish I
What's
didn't
this
see
one?
it.
Yeah,
The
what's
Ugly
this one?
Stepsister is like this German, I think it's German, kind of like body horror fairy tale thing where it does a
Okay.
lot of like grim fairy tale. It's mainly Cinderella, but it touches on a couple other things where this ugly stepsister pushes herself to extremes to meet beauty standards of the time. And I thought it was going to be like kind of violent body horror, but it's not just violent, it's disgusting. Like, I got grossed out. I got, like, so sick to my stomach. There's stuff in there I wish I'd never seen. And I can kind of handle violence, but this was, like, disgusting stuff. Like,
That's like me with Human Centipede. I'll be like, I wish I never saw it. I don't want it in my brain. You know?
Yeah.
If you have a weak stomach, not just when it comes to violence, but when it comes to a range of things in the human body, I would recommend skipping it. And
What's
was
it
not
called? I'm in.
Yeah, it was not
love
an
this shit.
amazing movie that's worth going through the suffering.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Cronenberg movie where like, oh, Cronenberg's gonna have some gross shit, but it's worth it because it has some like cool
Right.
things to say. Or like, like for me, Julia Ducournau, who did Raw, which is pretty gross, but also pretty awesome. Like
got
it's
a new
worth
one,
it.
right?
You kind of put up with it. What's that?
I think she has a new one coming.
Yeah, that one's getting weird reviews. The Alpha.
Alpha.
Yeah, there's like a teaser trailer. I'm still gonna watch it because I love Titan so much. But some gross stuff I put up with just because like, it's gonna have something important to say. Ugly Stepsister was just like not enough.
Dang,
So
dang.
I know that's gonna make someone want to see it because I'm that person. I would hear me talking right now. And I'll fucking watch it. You dared me.
I'll watch it and I'll like it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I won't get sick to my stomach.
Exactly. I'm so that person, but I'm warning whoever's like me. You got my fair warning. There's some gross shit in there.
You didn't like it. Person that's like him already.
I saw Heretic, and I know y'all had mentioned this before.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I did not like it. I thought
Okay,
it
a
was-
lot of people didn't. Yeah, I liked it, but I definitely thought it was a little clunky.
yeah,
sure.
I liked the first half, and Hugh Grant was
Hugh Grant's
awesome.
performance
It
was
was
great,
great
yeah.
to see a Hugh Grant like turn like that, and but the second half, I was just like, "What are we doing
Yeah.
here?" It
It's-
kind of, and I think maybe Isla, you mentioned this, like something like a college conversation or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I felt like the screenwriter was lecturing me, and you've definitely taken
Yeah.
a wrong turn. Where if I'm cheering for the Mormons against the atheists, like
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck that guy. But again, also atheists are irritating, so maybe they were right. Like we are an irritating bunch. I'm an atheist, and like I don't want to hang out with a bunch of us. So, but he like by the end, the screenplay just felt very like pedantic and like
I like the Monopoly bit.
Yeah, the Monopoly bit was cool. I
Great
didn't know that
bit.
shit actually.
That was great.
I meant to look it up if that's true. Is that true?
It is.
about
It
the
was.
original
I think
one?
it is true.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that movie was definitely, and I think it was marketed strangely because the marketing, especially the like puzzle box,
Don't
like
watch
maze
horror
house.
movie trailers ever, Isla.
Oh, for sure.
Ever.
Especially not Drop, because I watched
Never.
Drop. I can get into it in my section, but that trailer was insane.
Horror trailers are the worst. It's like we saw the Silent Hill trailer today. It was so much action. That's not the game.
Great trailer.
Great trailer, but it's not the game. You're not bashing
Yeah,
people
yeah.
with pipes every 3 seconds.
Yeah. Just sometimes.
But on the Sophie Thatcher tip, I also watched Companion.
I watched that, yeah.
I thought that was fun. That was fun. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like super special, but it was also fun enough. Like
Quaid's in that,
entertaining.
right?
Yeah.
Not a
He
fan.
is. I'm not a fan. I'm not a
You don't
fan of
like
him
him? I'm not a
either.
fan.
I met him. He was nice.
He's
he's
as
nice?
an
I met him the other
actor,
day.
as a actor. I don't know a single thing about him in real life. I have no opinions there.
He's
But
cast
as an
as a
actor,
type.
I've never connected with him.
He's maybe
He's
too
typecast in
convincing
this,
as
yeah.
that type. Like
Yeah.
I think maybe he needs a Hugh Grant thing where he plays against type, but he actually plays a sweet dude or something.
Plays a nice guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Companion was interesting because I had seen the trailer and the marketing materials for it, and I was worried that the movie was building up to the reveal of kind of what was going on, and I was like, okay, well, I already know that. So I'm like, is this going to ruin my enjoyment of this movie? But then that reveal is like 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, good. Like, great.
There's enough other interesting things about the movie where it's not just like a surprise movie. It's just kind of like a poppy thriller type thing. And it was fun for that. I like that. And I'm looking at my list here of what else I saw, because I was sick, so I watched some stuff on my TV, some on my iPad. Don't worry, I watched Smile 2 on my TV, my huge TV, not on the iPad. I would not do that to Smile 2.
So fun. It's an epic. Smile 2 is an epic. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is for sure.
It's an epic.
That's crazy. What is this? Sophia's been after me to watch it, and I'm like, I don't know. Good. It seems too bleak.
For Smile 2,
it's heavy.
Yeah.
Smile 1 is too bleak, but Smile 2 is fun.
I like just got home from going to my friend's funeral who completed a suicide, so I'm like,
it's a lot.
That's not the time. That's not,
maybe not right now. Yeah, not right now. It would hit too heavy.
Yeah. Oh. And then the Limey. Let's get into the Limey.
Fuck yeah, let's talk about the Limey.
You could see the sea from here if you could see it.
You could see the sea from here if you could see it.
What a great. I mean, Guzman is always great. He's properly rated by people who love him, but underrated because I feel like, people are like...
I feel like Terrence Stamp is like that too.
Yeah. I feel like people say, oh, Luis Guzman was playing his thing, and I don't think that's true necessarily of what he does. I feel like he plays different people all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really funny, and like he has kind of like this sly sense of humor that's maybe similar that shows up a lot.
I always know an actor. They always score points for me when they lampoon themselves. Mm-hmm. So Luis Guzman in the show Community went to that community college, and they have a statue of him, and he shows up in one episode and plays like a dick. He's like I can't remember the specifics, but he's like mad at them for some reason. He's like not cool, It's like James Marsden in in Jury Duty. He's playing like an elevated like dick version of himself. I'm always just like, if you have enough sense of humor about yourself to play a version of yourself that makes you look bad.
Yeah.
I'm always like, okay, you're probably a chill guy.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, usually the butt of the jokes in his movies.
That's true.
And so I love the editing. And,
oh my God, yeah. The editing is the star of the show in the line.
Yeah, it really is. It has this very kind of like loopy circular editing to it, which like it moves forward a little bit, then it moves backwards, but it's all so seamless and smooth. And it's
so bold. Like you'll be hearing like the scene when he's talking with that woman, right? It's just two people talking by a door. And you hear her talking, and you're just looking at her, looking at him.
Yeah.
From like a different part of the conversation.
Yeah.
And then it'll jump cut to what she's saying. And it's just like, who does that? Who thinks to cut a movie like this? It's so cool.
Well, the editor's name is Sarah Flack. I looked into it. I was like, who edited this film?
Yeah.
And she'd done a few films for Sofia Coppola also. Like she did Lost in Translation and The Beguiled, and she'd done some stuff.
Beguiled, that's a good one.
Yeah, she'd done some stuff for also Soderbergh, and she had like just reached out because she loved films and wanted to like. I think she was just like a PA or like had worked like doing like at college just like writing about movies. It was like, how do I get in the industry? And saw some like Miramax like ad and was like, I want to work as a PA. I want to work for Soderbergh. So like, yeah, it was a pretty awesome entry into the film industry. Cool. And then like when she was working on this movie in particular, I remember I said, I feel like this has a French New Wave connection. Like actually when she was meeting with Soderbergh, and they were working on this movie in particular, they sat down and watched 20 French New Wave movies as they were working on it. And like there was
it
this
shows, yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely this kind of style around the time, which is part of what made me fall in love with those movies. And like Jules and Jim has some of it, but there was also this gangster movie called Shoot the Piano Player that Francois Truffaut did around the time also, that has so many innovative little things. Like there's small things in Jules and Jim that probably don't stand out that much. Like there's those like flash frames when people are talking. Yeah. Like Jim will kiss Jules on the cheek and like they'll flash the screen.
And it'll, like, pause
they'll freeze it. Yeah. Or like you'll see Catherine's hair blowing in the wind, and all of a sudden, like it'll freeze on her face for just like a second.
I like those moments.
Like Scorsese mentions that he took things like that for his films, like Mean Streets and Goodfellas. But
I really like that as a technique.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Just like, hey, here's a freeze frame of this moment.
They did it in Fist of Legend.
Oh,
it's a nice way to kind of like demonstrate in real time how memory works. Because when I think back on moments, that's how I think back on moments, is just like individual ways, like something will have like caught in the air, and that's how I think of people afterwards, or like an afternoon, you know what I mean? It'll just be like a freeze frame of that. But anyway, I really like that aspect to the Limey because I'm in love with French New Wave movies, and like just the like editing style, incorporating that into kind of like a much different type of story. And I love the flashbacks to when he was younger. Do you know how they did that, Terrence Stamp, when he was younger? Because it didn't look like a computer de-aging.
No, that was before that. It's footage from a movie called Poor Cow, and he's basically like, the Limey is so weird. It's basically. It's like a spiritual, we kind of got the rights, we kind of didn't get the rights. It's a spiritual sequel to two different movies, where his is very directly, he's playing basically the same character as from Poor Cow. So like him when he's singing Donovan, like, yellow is the color of my true love's hair in the morning. Like that's from Poor Cow when he was like, you know, and they use it as a flashback with him and his daughter or whatever. And like, cause he's kind of a low level criminal in that movie. I haven't watched it. I've always intended to watch Poor Cow. And then Fonda's character is like basically, I think it was like Easy Rider maybe, or one of those like hippie movies where he's like a grown up hippie who's gone evil, like a boomer, you know? And like,
I remember now.
And like, yeah, so the Limey is basically a soft sequel to like these two other movies from the actual real life actors. And it's like, okay, all these hippies became these assholes who were ruining the world. And that's Fonda. He got too much money and he sold out. And then the Limey is, you know, Terrence Stamp is Poor Cow and he's staying true to his shit, you know? And like, that's kind of the sort of like the spiritual kind of like influence, I think.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about any of that watching.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of just stood on its own as its own.
Yeah, it works on its own. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's been a hot minute since I like watched the behind the scenes stuff or listened to the commentary. The commentary is hilarious. I think I was telling you about this, but like Soderbergh and Lem Dobbs, like the writer, they always get in fights and all this stuff. And the commentary is cut out of order like the movie. So the commentary starts, at least on the DVD I had in college or whatever, the commentary starts with a fight that they will have later on in the commentary.
So funny.
So it just starts with a clip of them being like, no, you're being ridiculous or whatever. I can't remember what they're saying, but it's really good.
So funny.
As the movie is played. So you're watching this disjointed weirdo movie and the commentary itself is out of order. It's so fun.
And I didn't know this. The writer is the writer of Dark City. Is that right?
I'm pretty sure it's Lem Dobbs. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize that when I was watching the movie, and then I was like, "That's a movie all about memories, also, in a much different way." But yeah, there's definitely like a connection.
Alex
there
Proyas,
in that
dude.
way,
Yeah. Fucking, I was just watching a video about iRobot.
Hell yeah.
And like that crazy ass movie.
Oh yeah, I rewatched Minority Report a little while ago. God,
Dude, I love Minority Report.
God, it's so fun.
The milk, dude.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, so Lem Dobbs worked with Soderbergh on The Limey, and also one of my other favorite Soderbergh movies of all time, Kafka, which no one has seen.
I should have stolen the VHS from Blockbuster.
Dude, oh, and he wrote Haywire as well?
Didn't they have that?
Haywire's good.
The VHS, right?
I mean, I'm sure they had the VHS. Yeah,
John
he wrote
Malkovich,
Dark
right?
City. What?
John Malkovich? Is Kafka? Or no? Am I
No,
thinking of something else?
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. Okay.
Yeah, Kafka's a great
Much
movie.
more
You can track
sexy
it
than
down.
Malkovich.
Yeah, there was a rumor like 12 years ago that Soderbergh was like retooling Kafka. I don't know if anything ever became of that.
Can't trust
Clearly
a word
nothing.
he says. He retired 7 times.
Yeah. And then he came out with 4 movies in a row. Like I loved Presence and Black Bag. We talked about it on the show. But anyway, did you like The Limey?
I did, yes, I did.
Okay,
and
woo!
which I was honestly nervous about, and I'll tell you why, is because Soderbergh is hit or miss for me, and more often on the miss side. But when I do like him, I like him a lot. And I'll tell you movies that I liked a lot are like Magic Mike, which I just like
Hell
adore.
yeah. 10 out of 10.
And like the first Ocean's 11 and Out
yeah.
of Sight, I love.
Yeah.
Like Out of
Easy
Sight,
10.
I really, really was into. And I would put this in the category of Soderbergh movies that I really like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Magic Mike has no business being so freaking good. Like,
I think it has all the business being that good,
does.
actually.
It does. It is the best.
But I don't
the
think he didn't
best.
direct the second one, did he? It was someone else.
He
I love
did,
both of them.
and then
He directed the third one, apparently.
okay, I think he did assistant on number 2. Like
Okay.
he wrote it, or he was second AD or first
Yeah,
AD.
it's not listed under his directorial list here. I'm looking at it.
I think he's the AD on it.
His career is so weird for me too, because it's like I've since film school and maybe before, I've considered him one of my favorite directors, but like I've only seen like maybe half soaking wet of his stuff, and it's
Logan Lucky.
I love Sex Lies and Videotape, Kafka, The Limey. You know, Aaron Brockovich is cool.
Oh, 10 out of 10. No, 10.
Ocean's 11 and
10.
13, you know. But then, like, Traffic, I think, is not good.
Yeah, I'm with you on Traffic.
His
Was the one
Solaris
that
is
got
kind
me,
of
yeah.
whatever.
Not a fan of that one.
Bubble,
like
I
the
never
original.
saw. The Good German, I never saw. Che, I never saw.
Che, I
Girlfriend,
saw
never
part 1 and
saw.
2 back to back in theaters. Let's go.
But then Haywire, like, I don't like that main actress, but, like, Haywire is a sick-ass movie.
Yeah, Haywire ripped.
Side Effects was okay. The
I like
Nick
that.
is, like, fucking great.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Logan Lucky.
Presence and Black Bag are sick. So it's like, yeah, he is an interesting filmmaker.
But you know
for
what's
sure.
you know what's funny? Some of my bands like crank out. Some of my favorite bands just crank out tons of music. And if you were to like pick the wrong slice of it, you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is not a good
You'd be like,
band."
this is trash.
But if you have someone curate it for you, you'd be like, "Oh, an amazing band." So
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. Yeah.
And the interesting thing with Soderbergh is you could curate him to someone who doesn't know anything about Soderbergh and make it seem like he makes nothing but weirdo art house stuff, or nothing but like populist, like, you know, blockbuster kind of like.
Logan Lucky, Ocean, Aaron
You know,
Brockovich.
it's such a bizarre. He has like 2 poles, and they're either niche art house or really big kind of just crowd pleasers, and it's interesting.
yeah. Totally.
Any other ones?
I think that wraps it up for me for the recent past. Yeah.
So to complete the cultural exchange, Matt watched The Limey and I watched Jules and Jim, and it's interesting because there was a lot of stuff I really appreciated about Jules and Jim, and I think you warned me. I think you didn't know if I would really like it. I remember a long time ago.
And that's not a requirement for the exchange.
No, yeah. Here's the thing is like, it's one of those movies where it's like, I'm watching it and I'm appreciating it for what it is and when it was. And I also think there's probably a lot about it that I'm probably missing, the cultural context for, and maybe the temporal context for, because like there were a lot of moments in there where I'm like the guy in the bar toward the end when he's like, she's just an object. Don't worry about her. She doesn't have any thoughts or feelings or whatever. And it's like, okay, clearly this is like an intentional objectification of this woman. Like, and obviously you're doing it on purpose. And I'm like, are we commenting on Western film? Are we commenting on like something in society at the time this movie came out? Like, I was kind of like, because within the text of the movie doesn't seem to like women or paint them in a good light. And I was like, but it seems so obvious that it has to be doing that on purpose. And I just wasn't sure what it was like cutting out against with that. You know, if anything I'm saying makes any sense.
Yeah, it does 100%. It's hard to get into it without ruining sort of the ending. I think it's like but there are ways to talk about it. Like there's like a lifestyle that Jim has, and there's a lifestyle that Catherine has. Yeah. And for Jim to go about gallivanting with women and like cheating on her with his like person that he has an off and again relationship. Yeah. I can't remember her name, Gabrielle or something like that.
Something like that.
That's totally acceptable in the world and was accepted for Frenchmen to do that. But then he gets
upset.
But when Catherine has the same type of behavior, and you see this in so many French films, that it's just totally normal and romantic. It's like wistful for Frenchmen to have all these dalliances. But when like someone like Catherine takes on the role of someone like a man and wants to treat men the way women have been treated by men, it's like this huge tragedy for them. And you even see her taking on the role of a man by putting on the mustache and the cap and like fooling people on the bridge.
It's like the first day they meet her.
Yeah, so yeah. Like, she fools other people like who are strangers, like who think she's a man. And there are parts at the end of the film that kind of comment like how she wants to be treated afterwards, but it's against the regulations in the final closing of the movie. And for me, the end always seemed so abrupt when I first watched it. I was like, that came out of nowhere. But
I was waiting for it the whole damn time.
Oh yeah, you were? Yeah, that's funny. yeah. When watching it again after the first time, it's definitely like heavily foreshadowed.
Yeah.
And especially after, I guess, the way you see her treated. And I know you said that she was like a awful person.
Well, that's the interesting thing, because like the way you just talked about it, I was like, okay, that was kind of what I had assumed it was kind of getting at, right? But like watching it as a movie with three characters, I was like, I feel kind of bad for Jules, and everyone else is a piece of shit.
That's funny.
And like, Jules is also a piece of shit. And like, I literally Googled after I watched it, I was like, why do people like this? Because I was like, obviously I missed the boat, right? And I didn't hate it, obviously, but like, I was like, why? Because I know you love it, right? And like,
yeah.
And I was like, okay, clearly, like, because I didn't relate to the characters and I didn't like enjoy them. And people, like a lot of comments that I saw were like, oh, people like the mature, like the AI like summary of what people were saying on Google, which I fucking hate, was just like, people enjoy the mature approach to relationships. And I was like, these are the most immature people I have ever encountered. And it was interesting. And like, after texting about it with you a little bit and like thinking about it on my own, I came to a read for myself that kind of made me appreciate the movie in a different light. And I kind of mentioned it to you, but like, I started to view her as a stand-in for life or the universe or God or whatever force makes things happen, you know, in that it is random and incapable of compassion or care, and it just does what it wants for no reason, and like takes what it wants when it wants, does what it wants when it wants. And like viewing that as the framework and these guys are just kind of like along for the ride is sort of an interesting read. And it was the kind of the read I retroactively gave the movie that made it kind of make more sense for me. Whereas I was just like, okay, she's a metaphor for life. And these two are just like guys who probably are in love with each other, but can't face it. And then shit just happens the way it happens because life is random. And like, obviously not the correct read probably, but like, yeah.
They certainly love each other. Like
they love each other for sure.
All three of them love each other, but especially it was like a very tender sort of male romance that was
sort of like The Dreamers, where it's like, okay, you all want to fuck, like
exactly.
Like Et tu Mama Tambien.
Kind of, little I mean, it's very Et tu Mama Tambien, which also I didn't like. So,
I will say that it is, and I didn't know this until somewhat recently, like within the last 5 or 10 years. Even though I grew up with this movie, it is based on a true story. It's based on a book, which is like a novelization of this guy's real experiences. And at one point after making the film, the author had died, but there was a lady named Catherine who came, a very older woman, I think like in her 70s or 80s, who came to the movie, who said, yeah, this is to Truffaut, the director, who was like, yeah, this is pretty accurate, you know, for better or worse. This is me. So she went on to live a long life to see the movie and see herself represented, which is interesting. But I don't think any of your readings are wrong because Truffaut, you know, definitely is has a very poetic license with the stories he tells. I watched it because I was just a very young 16-year-old and wanted to learn more about movies. And Tarantino was a window for me when I was a kid. In Pulp Fiction, the characters Jules and Jim are in that movie are named after Jules and Jim from this film. And Tarantino had this production company named Band Apart, which is named after the Godard movie Band Apart, which stands for Band of Outsiders. So that got me interested in seeing French New Wave movies. And those were some of the first like world cinema movies that I saw that were like cool or fun or interesting or stylish. And I was like, holy shit, this is where cool movies came from. Like when I was a kid, like they're romantic and they're interesting and they're rebellious. So like when I was a young kid, it kind of opened my eyes to a whole new world of movies. And these people wrote about movies too, the directors and their like magazine. And so I would buy like old like collections of their like journals that they wrote about and go find all the movies they wrote about. So I think it has like a lot of attachment to me besides just being like a movie that I love with complicated characters who you know, like there's hangout movies, like people call like Dazed and like Confused, like a hangout
Only Lovers
movie.
Left Alive.
Or exactly. That's a good one. Or Jackie Brown, where you come to like, the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, I don't really like any of these people, but you see it a couple times and you're like, oh, I love these characters. That's what Jules and Jim happened for me. Where you just start to understand them more in their actions and how they bounce off each other. You're like, oh, that's why they did that. And okay, that's actually kind of endearing now. So, but I totally understand. I had the same feeling you did once where I was like, oh, Catherine's kind of mean, you know, like that, during my early watches. Yeah, absolutely.
But, and like, they all have moments of being mean to each other and tender to each other. And like, that's how it is. I mean, that's a lifelong weird string of situationships for you. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those movies where it's like, I really appreciated it, but I didn't enjoy the act of watching it.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
You're not a 16-year-old who's like, French cinema, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because because I was so sensitive to the notions of like infidelity and stuff as a teen. Like I would watch like Summer of Sam or whatever, and there's a scene where like, you know, someone like do you remember that scene where they go to like a swinging party because she thinks it's what he wants?
I've seen it so long.
Yeah, but like I don't know, like all that stuff, I was so sensitive to it, and like that doesn't really bother me anymore. Obviously, like whatever. And this is more of just like a polycule like situation anyway, which like my whole fucking friend group's a polycule, whatever. But like, yeah, it's just such an interesting movie, and it's so fraught, and it's so interesting, and it's like I'm still thinking about it, which means it's good. I just hate them.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Anyway, thank you for watching it.
Thank you for recommending it. I mean, it was really interesting. I also like. Yeah, I wonder, like, it really feels like one of those movies, like you were saying, kind of like, if I watched it in a different mood or a different day, I would have a completely different experience, you know? You never know. All right. Thus completes the cultural exchange. Real quick, some that I watched. I saw the movie Drop, which I thought was fun. I had heard, thankfully, that it's good if you have not seen the trailer at all. And so my sister and I watched it, and we enjoyed it. We liked it. It was thrilling. It had twists and turns and whatever. And then I was like, after we were done, I was like, let's watch the trailer because I want to see what the trailer has in it from the movie. And the answer is literally everything. It shows the entire, and like, I know people always say this. Do it. There is one plot element from the movie that is not in the trailer. Everything else is in the trailer.
That is insane.
It shows literally the entire movie.
Fucking insane.
And like, it's out of order and whatever, but like it's a kind of movie where if you see certain things, you're like, okay, now I'm just waiting for this the whole time, you know? And so
I
like,
can't do that. I can't.
I would recommend that movie if you never watch the trailer or don't watch the trailer first. I saw Thunderbolts. Did we talk about that already on this show?
Forget.
I don't remember.
I think Huber talked about it, but I don't know if you talked about it.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Loved it. Yeah, I love that one.
Long story short, like, it's what they should have done right after Endgame.
Yeah, super
like a smaller thing. Saw Fear Street Prom Queen, dude. This one hurts.
Oh, I know. I haven't seen
This
it, but
one
please tell
hurts,
me.
dude.
I heard that it was kind of flimsy. Yeah.
Sophia and I put it on, a few days ago. And it's
devastating.
It's one of those. Have you seen? Did you watch it?
I'm not. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I mean, it takes place in Shady Vale or whatever. So it's like there are links.
Maybe
and
I'll do it like October 1st.
Sure. Yeah. Get it out of there. They like loose references to the other three, but like the other three, the trilogy is like so near and dear to me.
Yeah.
Like I fucking adore it.
Because the creator made all three of them like together.
Yeah. It's one big thing, and it's perfect. Like it's the perfect amount of camp and serious and heartfelt, and it's wonderful. And I cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah.
This one is, it's one of those things where it's like what they were going for, and you can't fault them for that. But it's one of those where
there's
feels
a missed vision rather than a lack of vision.
There's a missed vision.
That helps. That helps a little bit. That goes a long way.
But the vision is not unique or complicated or anything. It's just a bunch of a killer at a prom, right? And like the weirdest thing, it does that thing that some horror movies especially, but a lot of movies fall prey to, where it's like it's ticking the boxes. Like the characters are having the emotional moment or like saying the "I'm Lori fucking Granger" line, but like none of it was set up or earned, and the interwoven tapestry that would support any of these moments was just not done. And like all the characters, like they had this little group of mean girls, right? And the movie like introduces you to them and just says who they are and like what their deal is.
Here's the archetype.
She's the mean girl. Here's her assistant or like her number
Sidekick,
2.
Yeah.
This is the goth girl who has an older boyfriend who sells drugs or whatever. And it's like it doesn't do anything to actually like shore any of that up or show that dynamic or like have any of those things, but then it does the beats where it's like, okay, her number 2 is getting sick of the mean girl's bullshit, and it's like just because that's what happens in a mean girl's story.
Totally.
And so it's just really weird. And like there was one part of the movie where the number 2 or whatever, when she starts to kind of like get tired of the mean girl's bullshit, that you start to be like, oh, okay, this is actually getting kind of interesting. Like something's happening between these characters, and then she just gets killed. So it's just like 30 seconds later, and whatever. It would be maybe interesting to watch it again, knowing like who the killer is, but like, not really.
Lame.
And it's not really that, like, we kind of called it pretty quickly.
Lame.
It's just, it was really disappointing. I was kind of bummed.
I feel like the original trilogy was like actually lightning in a bottle.
Yes.
Came out of nowhere
Yeah.
and was so fucking good. All three of them. It was such a unique premise. Keep going back in time with these movies, all loosely but overtly connected.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool.
And they'll
definitely,
always
it felt like
be
an
good.
event.
Yeah, they're so good that they'll always be
Yeah.
good. I feel like they'll be classics.
Yeah.
It's been long enough now where they've
Yeah.
kind of cemented themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, you
and
know,
the kills are incredible in the originals. They're not good in this one. I heard is the main thing.
they're just whatever.
Generic
like, they're,
kills.
They're whatever. Like, you know, axe to the side of the head. They're like, you know, Slasher 101.
Yeah. It's so funny.
It's kind of whatever. Like
What
the
was
meat,
in,
the meat slicer kill in one is like legendary.
Exactly,
It's fucking
exactly.
gnarly.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like I like think about it. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just it's a bummer.
A miss.
You know.
Hopefully they can bring it back and get it back on
or
track.
just I don't know.
Or
yeah.
just end it. Because
and
after
then-
that third one, I was so ready for an entire give me 10 more of these. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and that's the weird thing too is like those had such a sure hand at the till or whatever the saying is. Like they had a vision. You
Yep.
could tell that from the second they started.
Yep.
This is set up. This is thought out. It's a trilogy. It's airtight. It has, you know, through lines, character arcs, romance. You know,
This is
it's a
Netflix
time
looking
travel
at the
story
clock.
that isn't stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. And like this one is just like literally AI probably could have just been like,
Probably.
here's the story. It, honestly, now that I say that,
AI was
it
probably
kind of
involved.
felt. I mean, I don't want to accuse that, but like that's kind of what it felt like.
I'll
It was
accuse
just like
Netflix of
Somewhere there's like a
anything,
writer at home being like, "But I'm not AI."
I'm so sorry. And like honestly, what it
We're
felt
blaming
like.
Netflix, not you, writer.
No, I am blaming Netflix because what it really did feel like was that there were things that got cut out of it that.
Keep it
'cause
90 minutes.
It
Keep it
is
tight.
It is literally 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Exactly 90
it
minutes.
tight.
And like it felt like there were story arcs or like character moments or like things that were just not there. It was very odd.
Jeez.
Been watching Poker Face, been liking that season 2.
Maybe they should have done a TV show of Fear Street.
Maybe.
They could have done that.
That's kind of why the first movies worked. Is it just
Yeah.
felt like a special, like
Yeah.
a mini series.
Yeah.
But Poker Face is really delightful. They've leaned a little into more like cheesy humor maybe than season 1, which sometimes lands and sometimes doesn't for me. But it's been okay. It's been cute.
How much do I need to remind myself of the first season? Because sometimes, like with the big story, it got a
Yeah.
little complex plotting. Do I need to
It-
remind myself of all that shit before I jump in for season 2?
The show kind of does a good job of catching you back up.
Okay, cool. Because I
but,
can't remember
like-
shit.
Same.
Yeah, she
Too many stories in our brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
she's got somebody on her tail, and that's kind of all you need to know.
Okay.
I love a tail.
At the
like
start.
Tom Hanks in Road to Perdition. He's got a
Whoa.
tail.
Oh my god! And what a tail it is.
What a tail. The best tail.
What else? I feel like there was another one that I was gonna say. Oh, I watched my friend Elric's movie, The Dead Thing. Obviously, he's like a friend of mine, and I would like to get him on the show to talk about it sometime, maybe. But it was more of like an erotic horror than I thought it was gonna be, and I was like, okay,
Whoa.
all right.
Crash over here.
I mean,
Erotic
he would
thriller.
definitely appreciate the Crash. Yeah,
I love the genre psychosexual thriller.
psychosexual thriller. It's like a horror, more horror, psychosexual thriller. So that was chill.
it's only
yeah,
a matter
it
of
was on
time
Shudder.
before David Caruso and James Spader show up
Yeah.
together.
Jimmy Smits is gonna finger blast your wife in the back seat of your car, and you're just gonna be okay with it.
Oh my gosh! So, that show, The Blacklist. You know, with
Elias
James
Koteas,
Spader.
not Jimmy Smits. It's Elias Koteas. It's not Jimmy Smits.
Elias Koteas.
It's Elias Koteas. Sorry. Yes, Matt?
Oh no, I was saying that show, The Blacklist, with James Spader. One of my friends is a writer for that.
My dad was really into that.
And she wrote me, my friend, in as character names. So you can look in there. Or on
really?
some episode, there's like Matt Walden, and like totally makes fun of me as like some huge nerd, just like because she's my friend. Yeah, it's amazing.
I love that.
Yeah. I've seen like clips of the
Let's
episode.
get her on the show.
Great. Yeah, she's
jobs?
amazing. She's like she's a great TV writer, but like I love just getting a diss by like James Spader's TV show.
That's so good, dude. I love me some Spader. I hope he's chill in real life.
Yeah, something like that huge dork Matt Walden or something like that. I'm not joking. It's so cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I'll find the clip for y'all.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. That's what our standard hour of us talking about what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what our patrons have been up to at patreon.com/reaction shots. I'm going to start at the bottom. 2 weeks ago, Zach Wojnar, I asked them...
Season 10, episode 15, The Hat Trick.
You found
Matt
it? This
Walden.
is
Jonathan Spivey as Matt Walden. Right there.
Oh my God.
Season 10, episode 15.
I forgot what the
everybody.
dude looked like. Yeah.
He looks kind of like... I mean, this is
funny.
like a tiny thumbnail of an image, but he looks kind of like...
Coulson, kind of.
Coulson, that's what I was going to say.
Clark Gregg.
He looks a little bit like
Gregg.
Clark Gregg. That's exactly what I was going to say, Coulson. Season 10,
episode 15.
Anybody
didn't
wants
realize
to
that show
wants to
went for
watch
that
it? Yeah.
Okay,
Awesome.
we are going to fire up season 10, episode Hat Trick. What
The
number?
Blacklist.
The Blacklist,
And it's
dude.
called, the episode is called The Hat Trick.
The Hat Trick of the Blacklist. I am watching that later.
Same, I'm watching.
That big dork Matt Wall.
It's better than my friend Will, who got like written in as like some awful criminal with a list of like terrible things he committed, like unspeakable things that I won't even say
Wow,
here.
what did he do to her?
He's awesome. She was just fucking with him, but like, yeah, I think I got off easy. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. If you're just a dork and not a criminal, that's pretty good. Although it's probably worse to be a dork. All right. Speaking of dorks, let's talk to our fans here, our movie lovers,
Yeah.
movie fans here,
Our land lubbers.
our landlubbers. Zach Wojnar. So I asked our things. Just talk about favorite recent stuff. That's what I asked. Zach Wojnar says the 4 seasons on Netflix. It's not a goofy joke factory like Tina Fey's other shows, but more. Oh yeah, I watched a few episodes of The Studio. Cute shows. Kind of stressful, but it's cute. But a more thoughtful and dialogue-driven rom-com. But it does have a single funniest thing I've seen in a long time, and I shall say no more. Okay. I saw Final Destination Bloodlines in Ukrainian without subtitles, and it was a lot of fun, full of delightfully gory kills and a surprisingly jolly tone. It's not a full-on comedy, but it's definitely tongue-in-cheek in a way that it evolves the franchise to the next level. Other than that, I haven't been watching too much TV, saving Andor Season 2 for when I get back from Ukraine, and I echo Jason the Wojnar's sentiments on Lazarus.
Didn't that show get canceled?
Which, Lazarus?
Yeah.
I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes,
It's the
and I
British
was...
one, right?
No, Lazarus the anime.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Lazarus Project. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I would be surprised if Lazarus got canceled because I think it was just one season probably because that's what Shinichiro Watanabe usually does. Cowboy Bebop guy.
Cowboy Bebop.
I was enjoying it so far, but
Andor is the greatest thing ever.
Andor season 2 was good. Andor is the best Star Wars.
Obsessed. Andor season 2 felt like a documentary.
There was a lot of discussion in the Discord about this. A lot of heated, great discussion. I loved reading everybody's comments. Oh yeah, a lot of back and forth. Yeah.
It is like actually one of my favorite pieces of media of the last 20 years.
Yeah, we're all on this train. We're all on this train.
Yeah, we're all on this train.
But it's I love reading the comments. They're very very thoughtful. Yeah.
It's I mean it's such an interesting show, and like there were things. I was listening to some behind the scenes stuff about some certain speeches, like Mon Mothma's speech to Senate, like almost made me cry. Like when it talked about like the death of truth is like the triumph of evil or whatever.
Ever.
But like it was written well before all this Trump shit, like before his second term and all that, like
before robots,
before
and
yeah,
clones.
and like before America just completely stopped hiding its fascist underbelly, like, and it was still so prescient, and it felt even more relevant now.
Yeah.
Like this show is just very well written.
Yeah, which is why it's like, okay, a show can be a 10 or whatever, like a movie or whatever. Like you have your 10s, and then you have your fucking 10s that are also at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Saying some extremely important things while also not pandering and being extremely enjoyable. Like, it was the absolute perfect storm of everything at the exact moment that it needed to happen. And that is why Andor Season 2 is just, like, beyond legendary now. It is, like, a it's going to be looked back as, like, a folk hero, dude. Yeah. Andor Season 2. Remember those days? The Legend of Andor.
I just hope that they take the lessons of this and don't listen to like
our
super
Discord.
Loud.
No,
Does our Discord not like Andor?
No, the opinion was mixed. The opinion was mixed. I think people liked it, but we're like, you know, is this the
Parasited.
What needs to be Star Wars? You know.
Well, I mean that I think is because you know the signal to noise, huh?
Oh, no, I'm just messing with my mole.
Oh, the signal to noise on Star Wars discussion, I think, gets heated really easily and really quickly. But what people are generally trying to say, perhaps, is, you know, some people want Star Wars to be the hero's journey, the Joseph Campbell, like, fantasy, like, good versus evil, black and white, like, high fantasy just story, right? Like a fable, you know? And I agree. Like, I think that there is a place for that. And I think that the original trilogy of Star Wars does that perfectly. Like, I think that obviously 4, 5, and 6
never
going to
happen again. Like, I hate
not,
to say it,
like,
it's never going to happen again. There it is. It exists, but it's never going to happen again.
And then there's the other side of the coin where it's like Andor is like the far other side of that, where it's all gray area, all nuance, good guys doing bad things to get the good things to happen.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's why I like it so much, because you have your Avengers flying around, space wizards, and then you have fucking real gritty people, boots on the ground, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. style, like doing sometimes questionable things.
Yeah.
Saying things, like, yes.
And like
similar vibe.
I like both of those. I appreciate both of those.
Same.
I think Andor
makes it better that they coexist. Like
I think it makes it better that they coexist.
Each one like
but
a
like
more special.
Star Wars track history at this point, and like depending on the age that the prequel trilogy hit you, you know, you might have a nostalgia for it, or you might just write it off or whatever. But like, you know, especially mostly the Disney trilogy being so
just
abysmally trash.
Just a mess.
Like, and I like
7 and 8.
I liked 7 and 8 fine
cool.
at the time. They obviously are far from perfect. I think 7 is just kind of a rehash, play the hits, whatever. Cowardly, but fine.
8 is 75%, 10
8
out
is,
of 10.
Yeah, 8 is like 70% great.
So a 7.
And 30%. And it's a 7. But like, it's 7% like exactly what I wanted, and 30% like Casino Planet schlock garbage.
Casino Planet
and doing Finn super dirty.
God.
Like, but the culprit here, this is what the to land this fucking plane.
The corporate overlords.
The culprit here was not the stories, was not any one person writing it. It was not having a plan going in from the fucking start.
Ben Franklin said this.
And listening to the fans and getting scared and changing course. Because, like, if Disney had just stuck to their guns and not just, like, literally hit Nevermind on the story of the previous 2 movies entirely, Rise of Skywalker could have been a good movie that retroactively made people like 7 and 8. Like if they had stuck to their guns and not gotten afraid, it's like the thing that George R. R. Martin says, where it's like if you've planned your entire story that the butler did it, and then the internet guesses that the butler did it, and you change last minute that the butler didn't do it, then the first half of your story makes no sense because you have all these clues that lead to the butler doing it that now don't mean anything.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Totally.
Writing.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, to the credit of the Lost creators, when I worked on that show behind the scenes, the way it ended was always their plan, and people may not like the way it ended, but that was their plan. At least
good ending.
From
it's
the
aged well.
things I've heard them say behind the scenes. That was the plan that I heard them discuss. There may have been multiple plans, but that was at least a plan I heard them discuss.
I want to know what they say about the final season of Game of Thrones. Was that always the plan? What's going on there?
Well, that's the Game of Thrones, I think, because like they say that George R. R. Martin told them like the broad strokes, but like to me it seems clear that the
Night King they changed.
Oh, for sure. I mean, or what happens is really stupid. Yeah, but they're not good when it's not adaptation. Yeah, they're good at adaptation, but I think they're terrible showrunners otherwise. Yeah, for sure. But like it just seemed like they were rushing to get out of there to do their Netflix Star Wars show for sure. And make different amounts of money.
Speaking of Star Wars, Gosling's coming. That's cool.
What?
Gosling's coming to Star Wars.
Oh, really?
It's gonna be a pilot.
This is all I'm saying for the new Star Wars is I think that it can be like I'm totally chill if the movies are more in the like, you know, family friendly like 4-5-6 realm of Joseph Campbell hero's journey, like
Grogu's
Fable.
Next. We're getting Grogu on the screen. Bring the kids.
I think that's totally awesome, and I love that. And that's the Star Wars I fell in love with as a kid, obviously. I think the only thing to take, the lesson to take from Andor, doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, nitty-gritty, politicking, whatever. It just is have a plan.
Have a plan. Have a vision.
That's all. Make your plan and stick to it.
Yeah.
Like, don't listen to the internet.
Yeah. It's insane.
That's how you make a Star Wars.
Actually insane.
Anyway.
Don't bow down to the whims of a madman.
Don't bow down to the
I rewatched Speed the other day.
Oh, well, you know, obviously one of my favorites.
The whims of a madman.
That's one of my Letterboxd 4 favorites if they asked me.
Sure.
Speed.
Is there anything else that can stop the elevator?
Poor people are crazy, Jack. I'm eccentric.
What are the other 3? What are your Letterboxd 4?
I mean, Jules and Jim's. Jules and Jim is
going to
be one of them. And then probably Ingmar Bergman's Cries and Whispers and Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket. So
okay.
I mean, some based on love and memories and some based on impact. Yeah.
Hell yeah. The whims of a madman.
I love that. You want to read Oliver Leland?
I am over the moon about season 2 of The Rehearsal. It is some of the funniest comedy I've seen in years.
I've seen the first episode.
Being completely earnest in the vulnerabilities and insecurities of its star and showrunner, Nathan Fielder. I enjoyed the first season, but season 2 is tighter, and I can't recommend it enough. And for movies, I rewatched White Nail.
With Nail and I
for the millionth time.
That's a hangout movie.
That movie is like a warm blanket that makes me laugh. A warm, funny blanket. I've never even heard of it.
With Nail and I, it's a hangout movie. You've seen that, right, Matt?
I have not. I saw another episode. I mean, another movie. The How to Get Ahead in Advertising. That one was really weird by the same creator, and because of how weird that was, it's taken me forever to see With Nail and I.
I really liked With Nail and I in college, in film school, and I rewatched it a few years ago, and it hit different now. There's definitely some like, I don't know, they use some terminology that didn't really age super well. Maybe I'm remembering, but like
that's like every 80s and 90s movie
it's kind of just sure. Of the time,
sad,
but like,
and it's real, but it's sad.
Fuck, even Bill and Ted say the F slur. You know, it's like whatever.
It's rough.
I think you'd really dig it, Matt. It's like it's a classic. It reminds me of like Down by Law or like one of those kind of just weirdo hangout movies. It's like In Bruges if there was no plot.
I need to get around to finally watching it. Yeah. But also on the topic of the rehearsal, I remember saying, "Oh, I like it, but I'm not laughing yet." Oh my God. By the end of the season, you're just dying laughing.
I need to keep going on
the
it.
Sully episode. People who have seen it will know what I'm talking about. The Sully episode.
Holy Zeitgeist.
The Sully. Yeah.
It's so funny when you never hear
that.
one single solitary word about a show, and then the algorithm is like every single human is talking about the show right now. It's very funny.
Oh, the rehearsal got pretty big in the first season,
what my
too.
opinion about that is. It's just interesting to see when like something really blows up and it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
It's funny.
Yeah. Katie Garza also says the rehearsal season 2 in the final season of The Handmaid's Tale. How do you have the stamina to withstand
I know.
that?
I couldn't make it through the first season.
It's real life. I know.
A long time ago, but yeah.
I've seen like moments of Handmaid's Tale, and I'm like, nah, that's too real. Like I ain't watching that.
I mean, the assaults, like everything is almost an assault in that world. Yeah. So
I'm listening to a
nothing
book
was
right
consent,
now.
and I was just like, ugh. Yeah.
I'm listening to a book right now that on brand for me is a period lesbian horror literary fiction novel called Grey Dog, and there's an assault in that, and it was very difficult to listen to.
I can see how it's important. Like, I understand that because the book I loved in college. Like, I love, dystopian fiction, and Handmaid's Tale was really eye-opening. So if you have the stamina for the show,
for sure.
Like,
I saw a lot of season 1, but like, my question is, did it need to be this long? I feel like the show's been on forever, and there's like 100 episodes. Like, why does this need to be
I don't know.
So long?
Sophia's like kind of explained it to me, but it's just like it's always sounded just way too intense for me. Mm-hmm. Also, season 2 of Poker Face, all such great examples of top tier TV. Tyler Travis also is loving the rehearsal season 2.
Sweet.
Hell yeah. Yes, Poker Face just feels like, I mean, obviously this is the project, but it's like a cozy, it's like Murder, She Wrote, Columbo, any of those. Yeah. And it's nice to have one of those to jump into every week.
It really is. And the episodic nature, I remember that used to be the thing, was like, oh, TV got better. It's no longer episodic. But now it's nice to have something episodic where you're just not committed to something giant and you can just like settle in for an episode.
When it does the thing like Fringe or X-Files where it's like both.
Yeah.
It has the overarching framework, but then the episodic nature.
Just enough to propel it forward.
Yeah. Just enough. And then occasionally you have the like lore episodes where it's just like, this is all story, like all top level. Which is funny because those episodes of Fringe were my favorite. And then the Monster of the Weeks of X-Files are my favorite. Like
that's
Legacy.
Funny. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny.
Okay, Tyler Travis, the studio should be watched by everyone that participated in or listens to this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Probably that is true. That show, I watched 2 episodes with it last night with Sophia. We've kind of just been jumping around because she's watched it all and she like shows me random episodes. But like, I like it and it's funny, but it also just makes me so goddamn stressed out.
Yeah.
Like that is, I don't know.
Did you see the one about the doctors?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Those doctors were assholes.
They were.
And he was right.
They were, but he also couldn't shut up. Like, both things were true. Just hold it in, buddy. Hold it in.
That was what was so relatable about that, because it's like, but those doctors were being mean.
They were. They were condescending.
Was just trying to,
yeah.
Yeah, he was just trying to say his thing, and they were being super condescending.
Yeah.
So they got what they deserved. Cold Smith says, hello, lovelies. Favorite recent films is kind of a tough one since there's been a lot of pretty great stuff. Firstly, while it is fresh, I just watched Sinners.
I saw it twice in the theater.
I saw it twice in the theater, yeah.
That's right. You got to support it. Now it's on
That's
digital.
the new I voted for Obama twice.
I would have voted for a third time. I saw Sinners twice in theater.
Primaries, too. I voted for Obama like fucking 5 times.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I voted for Obama every chance I got. But, like, the weird thing with Sinners is, it's like, I love it. But there are, and I've seen it in 2 different theaters, there are just some weird shots where like the wide shots are underexposed and it's weird. I don't
you see
get
IMAX?
it. I didn't get to see it in IMAX. It was the re-release was sold out. But I've seen it in 2 completely different theaters. One was laser, one wasn't. And like 5 or 6 shots in the whole movie. Just sometime I'm interested to see it on home release or something. Yeah. But like when he's talking to the one I can remember right now is he's talking to the girl to say, "Hey, watch my truck."
Yeah.
They're talking and their faces are exposed in the close-ups, but then in the wide shot, they're both underexposed. Huh. And it's like, this is something that Sophia talks to me about a lot because she's half black. And like, so many cinematographers that you see, especially in like TV or like run and gun kind of stuff, don't really know how to light for black people very well. That's what Gabby
said right when we got out of the theater. Yeah. She was like, it was actually really well lit. She said
which is funny because like most of the movie is immaculate and it's beautiful, and then which makes these random couple of shots really stand out to me. It's very strange.
It is.
It felt like they were losing the light on the day or something, and they just had to get it. I don't know. But, whatever. As the story, I really like Sinners. And I love the music, obviously. Moonlight. Excellently lit movie.
Sinners, never mind.
What?
It's not a spoiler. It just made me want to watch From Dusk Till Dawn again.
Yeah.
My favorite movie as a youth. My grandma bought me the VHS when I was like 7.
Your grandma bought it for you when you were 7?
Yeah,
I thought I saw that shit when I was young, but I was like a teenager. When you were 7,
I watched the most violent shit when I was young. It was out of control.
Yeah, wild grandma.
Oh my god! And you're so like well adjusted and you're a play.
It's art. It's art.
Yeah.
It's not real life. Murder rules in movies.
Yeah.
Were you afraid as a kid though? Were you afraid at night?
No. Huh. The only time I would ever get afraid is like traveling because it was like unknown locations. So I'd be like a little nervous as a kid, but now I love traveling.
I was just always afraid of the shadows in the corners.
I wonder if it's because that stuff was like forbidden. I was terrified of Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was never allowed to watch scary movies. But my parents gave me candy all the time, and as a result, I was not that interested in candy. I was like, whatever, candy.
That's
and
true.
Huber got to see all this shit, and he's like, whatever.
Desensitized.
He was inoculated against it as a kid. Yeah, and I snuck watched it when I was 7, and it ruined my life.
Huber got his horror movie vaccines when he was a kid. Yeah.
Seriously.
Take note, parents.
Yeah.
Inoculate your kids against horror.
Can't phase me. Yeah. That's why when I get scared of a movie, it's like, whoa.
An accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's interesting the movies that scare you though, because you've said a couple of times over knowing you, like The Wailing or whatever. That's the scariest movie ever. And
Demons.
Then I watch it and it's not scary to me at all.
Demons, home invasion, real life shit is easily the scariest.
Oh yeah, me too. Home invasion
Strangers is
and true crime.
True crime hits way different for me now too. Yeah, it's too much.
It's real. It's so scary.
Yeah.
And I want to be scared by demons. I love demons. I make myself.
Ghosts and demons scared. Get me at sometimes. Sometimes.
Ghosts are sad. Demons are scary.
Yeah. the thing with ghosts and powers cosmic horrors that is interesting is in some stories there's just you have no recourse. There's nothing you
what
can
are you gonna do?
Like a demon, you recite the right incantation and you're fine, right?
Pour some salts. Start chanting.
Get a young priest and an old priest. You're set. Whatever.
Power of Christ compels you.
I can't remember who was talking about this, maybe Red Letter Media, but that's what they were talking about, The Exorcist and why it's so effective. The original is because she tries everything else first.
Yeah.
She exhausts all rational avenues first, and then it's I guess I'll get a fucking priest. I don't know.
That movie's coming out with Al Pacino where it's based on The Exorcist. It's based on the story that The Exorcist is based on.
Oh.
I hope it's good. It comes out I think this month. It could be terrible, but could be good.
Anyways, Sinners of Bricks.
I think your boy's in there.
Who?
Your boy.
Which one?
Dan Stevens.
Oh, Dan Stevens!
I think it's Dan Stevens and Al Pacino.
I like Dan Stevens.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Abigail. That's another one. Don't watch the trailer. Just go in not knowing anything about Abigail.
Yeah.
And you'll have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just watched Sinners, and it was Colt Smith continuing. And it was pretty great, and I watched just the day after The Ugly Stepsister, which was the most unexpected pseudo-body horror retelling of Cinderella.
Yeah.
The Damned was a pretty good watch, just a tad on the predictable side, which held it back a tad. Final Destination was a really fun time, and Andor Season 2 is exactly what Star Wars needed. Love and respect. Beto's Burrito Rehearsal Season 2 is incredible. Nathan Fielder is an international treasure and a singular talent. Huber's right about The Last of Us Season 2. It's fine, but no longer prestige TV. I stopped watching after the first couple episodes.
I've seen in quite some time.
You got to work hard. I said this before, but
shockingly bad.
You got to work hard to make me not interested in a lesbian.
My thesis, I was very proud of my thesis. I say The Last of Us Season 2 fails as an adaptation and it fails as a season of television.
Wow.
Straight up. Absolute, it's a fail.
I know we differ on this, but I didn't particularly like the story of 2 just in general.
Definitely divisive.
Whereas I thought the story of 1 was its strongest
Children of Men vibes.
Yeah,
Keep
it's
tight.
strongest suit.
Yeah.
And I think that Season 1's story is well suited. I'm not going to say better suited, but is well suited for a television show. Whereas Season 2, like, the story, like, even for a game, it's like...
It's all over the place.
It's meandering, it's repetitive.
Yeah, repetitive brutality was
repetitive,
what the game
pointless brutality. Like, literally, it says... The cycle of violence is bad and not much else. And characters make annoying decisions.
There's a lot of good, nuanced characters that you probably haven't seen in like 6 years, Isla. So
I mean, I played the game. I played the entire game.
In 2020. There's a lot of nuance.
I like the characters in the game. I just didn't like what they did with it.
It's not just cycle of violence bad.
No.
I refuse.
No, but listen to me.
To accept that.
I'm not criticizing the characters. I'm criticizing the story.
Yeah.
Because I liked the characters. I liked Abby. I liked pretty much everyone except for Ellie. It made me hate Ellie, which is insane and good. But also, like, as a story, plot, whatever. Like, it's so meandering and doesn't to me say much more than just honestly, cycle of violence.
Truly, I don't know how you could ever play The Last of Us Part 2 and not be utterly blown away by Lev.
Oh no, I love Lev.
Abby,
that's what I'm talking about. No, I know.
Half the game.
Abby's story. This is what I'm saying, Huber. Sorry, I feel like I came at this the wrong direction. I love Lev. I love Abby's story.
You always go back
Abby's
to
whole
violence bad, and it's so much more than that.
Okay, but that's the overarching, like, the log line.
Yeah,
is the cycle of violence is bad. That's what the game is, quote unquote, saying in the bold font, right?
And to me, comes out, he's like, number 1 was about love. This one is about hate. Yeah,
right. Like that to me, I'm like, okay, and
yeah.
But no, all the stuff with Abby and Lev and Lev's sister, whose name I don't recall, Yar.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is good.
Yeah.
And interesting and saying new weird shit. And I know it's most of the game, but like Ellie fucks it all up. Fuck Ellie is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm with
Stay
Isla
home.
on this.
You have a baby. Stay home, bitch.
Stay home.
I'm with you.
The shitty thing is, and like, I know that this is the central irony of Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
But like, I don't buy that she would be so pig-headed that she wouldn't be able to fucking know in her bones that Joel would want her to just stay with the baby and her girlfriend.
But
like, there's no reality where she wouldn't understand that Joel would want that.
But love is not rational, and neither is hate. And neither are your emotions. Like, people have irrational emotions. That is the human experience.
But would you be so...
it's so easy to stand back and be like, why would that person do that? Because they're emotional.
Because they're emotional,
obviously. Like,
and obviously she didn't have a great life.
Yeah.
And didn't have a great
She has
upbringing.
been born in a world of violence, and it's all she's ever known.
I'm not surprised by her behavior. Mommy's just disappointed. But also, like, you know, and I know that she knows that Joel would rather she just stay there. But, like...
Sure. And
Dina wants it.
All
like,
her crew.
You have the perfect life, bitch.
Just keep it chill.
Just fucking lock it down. Like, I almost hope they change the ending of the show.
At this point, please, like, make it so different. It's
like,
oh my god.
To me,
it already is.
Here's the thing with revenge. I've said this a fucking 1,000 times, but revenge stories to me are irritating in the same way that poorly written horror stories are irritating, where things just happen because the story needs them to happen is not okay.
100%.
Like in an effective horror movie, right? It's scarier and more impactful if the characters do the logical stuff and that still doesn't work.
You want to root for them.
You do all the stuff that you would do as you in that situation, and it still doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so for me, revenge stories are helped drastically by a little moment where the character tries to stop.
Yeah.
Tries to say, you know what?
She did try.
You're right. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to whatever. She does, but then...
She
and I think Tommy shouldn't have told her that where she is. But like...
Yeah. But Tommy felt the guilt from the past because Joel kept him alive all these years. There's so much more to the story. There's a lot.
I think you need, like, for a revenge story, like, The Northman is guilty of this, where it's like
I didn't like that one.
I didn't like The Northman either. But like, every single thing in the story, it just would make more sense if he stopped.
Yeah.
And then, like, all you need to do is present the opportunity. Like, a coincidental re-meeting years later.
There's like, huh?
And you're like, oh, shit. Like, we just happened, like, 15 years later, we just happened to live in the same place, and oh, my God, it's reignited this hate in me. Fine.
That would have been a cool story, actually.
But, like, leave
like
your wife and kid and just go kill this guy is fucking stupid.
I kind of like that. Last
Anyway.
Part 2, 15 years later.
Yeah.
Abby just like lives in the town.
Season
all of a
3,
sudden.
I honestly want them to just completely change. Well, because season 3 will be the Abby half, right?
Yeah.
That's what you said? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be better.
I think
Was
they
Lev
were-
even in this?
Barely. Oh, Lev?
Yeah.
No. I think what really got me was how cowardice they were, that they really tried to protect Ellie from not being hateable.
Because she's the villain.
Yeah, like she kills people in season 2 and like accidentally and like feels bad and stuff. It is bizarre.
It's weird.
It is absolutely bizarre.
I think that obviously Bella is a good actor, but I think the characterization of
writing is failing
Ellie
her.
is weird. They made her kind of annoying.
Yeah. Oh, my dad is ready to tap out. My dad's like, yeah, I'm not really into this character. Kind of annoying.
She's annoying.
Yeah.
And like in the game, she's charming.
Yeah.
But then she does bad things, and you're like, oh, I hate you. Which I think is the point.
Oh,
but like
Ashley Johnson.
in this, she's just kind of annoying and childish and stupid. Anyway, sorry. Big spoilers for Last of Us.
Had to talk about
Don't
it.
bother, honestly.
Check out my spoiler mods with Gabby. We did one for every episode.
Hell
Check
yeah.
them out. We go an hour each on the. We talk about it for 7 hours, and we
Longer
were
than the
disappointed.
series.
Yeah, it was rough. It was fucking rough. Shocking though. It's HBO all over again. Here we go. Game of Thrones, but like sooner rather than later. Have your season 1 of just like rock solid critical and commercial acclaim and viewership numbers, and all of a sudden like everyone's like, who cares?
The shame with the Last of Us show, and like who knows if this is even true, but like I loved the Frank and Bill episode.
It's a little harder on a rewatch season 1 because you have all this momentum and then you stop for like a bottle episode, and then you have more momentum, and then you also stop again for a bottle episode.
What was the second bottle episode?
Left Behind, the DLC, the prequel.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which-
those are the two good though.
But they're the best. But they're the best parts of the show.
They are. They
like
are for
of the entire
sure.
show.
For
and like
sure.
to me, what's strange is like that kind of indicates the opposite of the Game of Thrones problem, where Game of Thrones is stronger when it's adhering to the material.
Yeah.
And the Last of Us show is stronger when it's deviating.
Yeah.
Although Last of Us Left Behind's pretty beat for beat, but like the Bill and Frank stuff was fucking glorious. Won them Emmys.
So good.
And it's not how it is in the game.
Yeah. It's totally
But
different
it's-
take.
And
but
so I'm
it's
like,
great.
that's why I hope season 3 is different.
Yeah.
Do a different thing.
For sure. It was
Or have it
hinted at.
end differently. Maybe. Because if it's the Abby half, like that was the best part of the season, the second game.
I agree.
Anyway, whatever.
I absolutely agree.
I know people don't like my thoughts on Last of Us.
It's
The last
one
of
of
the
the
Last
most
of Us.
divisive properties ever.
Tell me your thoughts on Last of Us.
And everybody hates season 2.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
Saves me the time.
Everybody, I love.
Okay, Duff says, Poker Face Season 2 is my recent delight, a lighthearted weekly How Catch 'em. They are doing...
How catch 'em.
Yeah, it's like a how... Yeah, because you know who did it, so it's not a who done it. Sometimes it's a how done it. They are good. They're doing good mixing up for the formula, and I love the jokes for jokes' sake that pop up in every episode. Yeah, did they do that in Season 1 as much? Were there just like hardcore, like just jokes? Maybe I'm just misremembering that those were in there too. The Pit on HBO Max. Sophia loves this show.
Oh God, it would stress me out. Like I've had so many problems with.
She was like, "Don't watch it.
Yeah,
It's
really
gonna,
funny
it's gonna
because it
blow your mind." But she
was-
says it's like the best show she's ever seen.
It was funny because this is another studio thing where this was originally going to be a ER soft reboot, a continuation of ER.
Because it's the same guy.
Same
I mean,
guy.
Noah Wiley was
Noah
one of
Wiley.
the best parts of
Yeah.
ER. He was incredible.
Literally,
in that,
it was originally conceived as ER, and then they like couldn't get the rights or the actors or something, and they're like,
I mean,
okay,
that's
fuck it.
that's
Retool
interesting.
it.
That's interesting. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's got like PTSD basically from COVID, which is really interesting. Anyway, kick-ass medical drama that was presented like an action show, with each episode being real time in a day shift of a Pittsburgh ER. Good nostalgic vibes for the original ER too. Don't watch if you're a hypochondriac though. The conditions are gnarly. Yeah, not for me.
That's my thing. That's
What?
that's where I kind of draw the line. Hospital things. I don't want to fucking watch that.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to
same.
fucking deal with people dying in a fucking hospital.
yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I wish I could watch that because it looks like a 10 out of 10.
I want to.
But it's just a little too much for me.
I'm curious when you guys finish Claire Obscura what you'll think of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to not spoil anything, but I want to survey the people who have played that game and finished it, what they think of it, and if they've had someone close to them die or not in real life.
Yeah.
Just curious. Anyway, more casually, I've been enjoying YouTube video essays like Power Packs dive into the bizarre Doom mod, myhouse.wad. I maybe watched that video. I don't know if it was theirs, but myhouse.wad is fucking cool. It's like House of Leaves sequel in Doom. It's crazy. And Weird Places breakdown of why Japanese fantasy RPGs look the way they do. Really fascinating how publication standards for different countries can prohibit dissemination of ideas. Eyeballs emoji. That's some interesting stuff, Duff.
Interesting.
You want to read
Fede? Carl? The Wheel of Time had one of the best seasons. I scrubbed out in season 2. I tried a bunch of times. I couldn't do it. I
Dang, you used to
loved
love
season
that.
1. I know. Season 2 came out
You're a
of
scrub, dude.
at a busy time.
Yeah.
And there was a big gap. I didn't remember a single thing from season 1. It was just
It's very sprawling. I can imagine it'd be
Yeah.
hard to jump back in. Yeah.
it was so
Ironically,
hard.
the Wheel of Time.
Yeah,
made
and
you
then-
forget everything.
And then I heard season 3 sick, and then it just got canceled.
Oh, it got canceled.
So I'm just
Rosamund
out.
Pike, dude.
Yeah. One of the best
Hot.
seasons of fantasy television of all time, and it sucks. It was canceled this week. Hopefully another studio picks it up like they did with The Expanse. Daredevil Born Again was a fantastic return to this side of the MCU, and can't wait for more seasons. My Hero Academia Vigilantes has been a really fun ride, showing a different side to the world of the franchise. Imagine Great Value Spider-Man and Hobo Batman teaming up to stop the spread of drugs in their neighborhood. Hilarious concept. And of course, we cannot ignore Andor, probably the best series of the year. Regarding Isla's comments about Dave Filoni last episode, what if I told you he already worked on a 7-season-long series that deals with the hypocrisy and wrongdoings of the Jedi, as well as the corruption of the Republic, war profiteering, and many other themes? That's right. Watch Clone Wars. It's a good show.
Okay.
I'm never going to watch it. It's the ugliest show.
It is
My
very
brother-
ugly. I cannot get into
Every
it.
single it's hideous, and every person who watches it gives you some insane
List.
MIT looking watch list. Like, I'm good.
That's my brother Drew. I love Drew
yeah.
dearly.
His next thing
He's
is
like,
look
you
for
gotta
a list
watch.
of episodes in chronological order because it's not in
I'm
chronological.
never watching it. I'm never doing
He's
it.
always like,
Despite
if you love Andor, watch episode 17, 22, 35, 48 of Clone
Which,
Wars.
like,
I promise I'm going to do it. I promise I'm going to do it. Yeah.
I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
Same.
I just think, like, Dave Filoni hasn't he said he's anti-gray Jedi, though? Like, don't they actually, like, outlaw and ban gray Jedi? Like, isn't that what they have said? Am I mistaken? I don't know.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, I hear Clone Wars is very important for Ahsoka, and there's a separate syllabus for Ahsoka.
I heard Rebels. The brutal thing is Rebels is tied to Andor. That a lot of people that watch Rebels and Andor, Rebels, you're seeing other areas.
Oh,
in
like
the
the
galaxy.
Saw Gerrera shit or whatever?
And like other shit that like
that's cool.
Yeah, so, but...
What if somebody just like made a YouTube video that sums it all up for me? I would watch that.
So many of those. There's probably a lot.
The Clone Wars, those like little... I like it's right hideous. Now, I'm seeing in my head the little faces of the episode where it's all the little clones. Yeah. The little clone children, and they look like... just hideous little monster people.
Fucking hideous and dry.
And it freaks
boring.
me out. Their faces freak me out. I'm so sorry. Those little kids.
It's unfortunate because if you had been there at the ground floor, which technically I saw the Clone Wars movie in the theater, but like if you had kept up with the Clone Wars, it gets incredible. The quality, like it gets there eventually, but. You know, like we always talk about with old movies, like The Goonies and whatnot. It's like if you weren't there at the time, it's a really hard ask to just get into it.
For some stuff,
just too many episodes,
and other stuff I think never ages and it's fine. But
true,
I don't know.
True. Chronological order is blah blah blah. Find the episode lists. Yes. Also, if you want to know more about the formation of the Rebel Alliance as well as the rise of the Empire, Rebels and Bad Batch are highly recommended, of course. Yeah.
We're so sorry.
Too much.
We respect you and love you.
Yeah, I love you. I wish I could watch it. I've tried 7 different times to watch Clone Wars. I'm not even exaggerating.
But those little Jango Fetts or whatever, I can't with their faces.
I can't. The younglings.
They're just like, meh. Meh. They look like bad guys in Alice in Wonderland, like Alice Madness Returns or something. Jason Wojnar, Lazarus just gets better with every episode. The anime, I think.
Yeah.
The pilot was okay, and the second episode was a little warmer. By the third, it gets comfortable with the humor and really starts to show. That was kind of my vibe, too, is like, I watched the first, like, 3 or 4, and I was like, this is getting better as it goes. You also have to tell yourself, no, this isn't Cowboy Bebop, but there is still a lot of awesome jazz. And I would say the main guy is, like, pretty spike-coded, at least at first. I recently rewatched The Voice of Grass, a 1992 Ukrainian mystical psychological drama. The first time I saw it, in a theater, I was heavily jet-lagged, and it was without English subtitles in Ukrainian. So I needed to see it again just to make sure I understood it the first time. Excuse me. It's about an older witch who is tasked with training a younger woman to become a witch. Sounds great. The catch is that the older witch will eventually die when she passes on all her knowledge. Ooh. It's great because it looks like it had the budget of a Power Rangers episode. So much of the mysticism and magic is showcased through the cinematography and performances. It's definitely one of my new favorite movies.
That's awesome. Last month,
that sounds really interesting. Voice of Grass. Last month, both me and Zach, along with our mom, went to Sergei Parajanov Museum in Yerevan, Armenia's capital city. It was literally the only reason I wanted to go there, and the experience did not disappoint. I don't want to sound all pseudoscience-y, but there really is something cool about being surrounded by works from a singular artist, including props and costumes from films he directed and concept art for movies he never got to produce. That sounds really cool.
Definitely.
All right, let's see. Okay. Lost our spot here. Mike. You want to read this one? Mike Karwai.
Mike Karwai. As a general preference, but also maybe due to irreparable trust issues after the last season of Game of Thrones, I'm someone who tends to stubbornly prioritize books and movies over TV shows. For me to commit free time to a series, especially when it's ongoing, takes a lot more unquestionable hype, e.g. Severance, or something that either sparks a specific interest or hinges less on plot. It's more in the former camp. But I'm still excited to get through the concluding season of Andor, aka Michael Clayton in a galaxy far, far away. I'm fairly confident I'll appreciate how the show wraps things up and hope it continues to feel debatably too good for Star Wars, at least on the page. Other than this and some rewatches of all-time favorites, I recently had a conflicting experience trying to get through the 2006 movie Babel by Inarritu. I remember Human mentioning his profound dislike of Birdman, and to a lesser degree, I feel a similar discomfort to everything I've seen from this. I do not like Inarritu movies.
Yeah, he also did 21 grams, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I
is
agree.
the only Inarritu movie I like.
I agree with y'all. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say...
I like Birdman.
I hate to say this,
but
I
don't.
really hate to say this, because it's such a mean, dismissive word to use.
It is, though.
But you know which word I'm good at? Pretentious, right?
The most of all time. Truly, Inarritu, the most of all time.
I hate to say it.
Whether he is in real life or not.
Oh, he may not be. He may not be at all.
His movies make me feel it.
Yeah,
every time.
And that's different. Like, art can totally be different from the person who created them, and I think it just be maybe unsuccessful movies. And sometimes we just don't click into a movie and what it's trying to communicate, and you may be on that wavelength and you're like, this isn't pretentious at all, I'm totally vibing with it, and it says something to me about my life, but they don't say something to me about my life, and I'm like, what is this guy fucking doing?
Thank you for validating me. Seriously. Like, I have always felt like an asshole for
you're not. You're so sweet and you're so open-minded.
It's like, damn it, why the Inarritu? It's like, I should love his movies, but I remember mentioning his profound dislike of Birdman and Ulysses feel discontent everything I've seen from this director. Disconnect. It's irritating because on paper I should love all of these, especially something like Babel with its global humanist intentions, or The Revenant, showing great attention to detail in one of my favorite historical settings. They're all astonishing technical achievements with 10 out of 10 performances, and I'm sure he's sincere and passionate going in, but for me, unlike the two other well-known Mexican filmmakers, he struggles to turn this into an experience that doesn't feel like it has a certain alienating, self-serving, and meretricious quality. I try to avoid overusing the word pretentious. Oh, there we go. But honestly, I'm left with that impression as well.
Oh, poor guy. I'll give him a hug if I ever see him.
He's got his Oscars.
But he does. He's got his flowers. He's fine. He'll do all right.
He's probably just not going to be one of my faves no matter how much I'm prepared to embrace his stuff. I still think there's enough there to call Babel a pretty good movie, and I love the Oscar-winning score from The Last of Us's own Gustavo Santaolalla. Also, shout out to the same actress who played Mako from Pacific Rim, who very nearly got a deserved win herself for one of the most challenging-looking roles I've seen in a while. I guess I was just disappointed and hoped this could be both the Inarritu work that finally spoke to me and impactful, comforting watch for difficult times. P.S. I have not been much of a gamer for a couple or so years, so I haven't checked in as often as I'd like outside of this podcast, but hope things are all good. As always, love and respect. Great.
Things are okay.
Yeah, McKay and Matt, yes. I always felt a little on the outside looking in at Inarritu, but it's nice to see some similar...
I felt that with, this is Quaron, but I felt this way with Y Tu Mama Tambien, where I was just like, this just feels too cute. It's like cutesy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Indie darling kind of vibe. Although I love a lot of his other stuff.
I like Y Tu Mama Tambien, but I know that feeling that you're describing. You know what it may happen?
More of like real life shit though, so maybe that's what's coming in.
Well, when the narrator meanders off to talk about some guy in a boat, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
He may have a winner. You know, like Lars von Trier, I find so obnoxious, but Melancholia. It's such a beautiful movie. I fucking love that one. So everybody, has that.
But it's also
have that one eventually.
I think it's also just like subject matter too, because it's like having suffered chronic depression for like a decade plus, like Melancholia resonated with me. I was like, I've been here.
And it says we have a superpower.
Yes. Yeah. Can face down tragedy with like a champ.
Yeah.
Shout out
but also like Birdman is my favorite Inarritu because I have done a bunch of theater. And so like I can appreciate it on that level.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Shout out to the little princess, Curon.
Tokyo Slim, Patron saying a reaction shots.
Hey, a lot of love to Tokyo Slim this month.
A lot of love.
Guy.
He's about to get into it here.
Shout out.
I have recently been hospitalized due to high blood pressure induced heart failure. I got out of the hospital 2 weeks ago, and last week decided to go to 5 movies and a shorts package at the 51st Seattle International Film Festival. Here's my short 1 to 2 line synopsis of the 5 features I saw.
I think he's not going to be here for the meetup, which is a bummer. Yeah.
He's doing better, though. He's out of the hospital, so
relieved. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was scared for the guy. I love him so much and really happy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Fuck Toys, John Waters / Greg Iraqi-ish, trashy, sexy, low-budget 16mm tarot-based dream logic narrative about making 1K and finding a live lamb to lift a voodoo curse from a down-and-out sex worker. Hot, slutty trash in the best way.
Just like me.
I need to watch that. Yeah, this sounds like just a documentary about my life. Black News, but spelled BLKNWS.
This one sounds awesome.
Terms and conditions. An Afrofuturist visual museum exhibit on the history of the Black American experience, told in a chaotic and fascinating blend of interview, historical footage, narration, reenactment, futuristic fiction, and music. Part doc, part fiction, part vibes.
I've been hearing a lot about this movie, by the way.
Yeah,
I really want to see this.
The Balconettes, a sexy French Riviera set semi-uplifting takedown of Not All Men, a group of hot but dysfunctional young women accidentally murder their dreamboat photog neighbor, who it turns out is a bit R-wordy. Written, directed, and starring Naomi Marlant of Portrait of Lady on Fire. Okay, I'm watching this.
Now I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Now you have my attention.
God, Portrait of Lady on Fire. Oh my God. By design, here's what I wrote to Isla and Matt right after I saw it. Quote, a beautiful dance of longing for feminine autonomy. I'm not sure if I fully grasp what it's saying, but it's engaging and dramatic and weird. Juliette Lewis finds happiness being a chair. Fun little end of days reunion for Udo Kier and Robin Tooney. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, Udo
Happiness
Kier's
being
awesome.
a chair.
Love that guy. Like, I'm glad he's still around. He's so
Udo Kier?
He's so kooky and bizarre and fascinating and just a great actor. Yeah.
Which one? By design or
Cloud.
Cloud, a psychological thriller / black comedy / morality fable from the director of Cure, Pulse, Tokyo Sonata, etc. Kiyoshi Kurosawa. A shady online reseller of goods has an online group of ripped-off customers after him, so he tries to hide in a remote country house, but they catch up to him. I'm fine, by the way.
Pulse? You know that walk
I need to
I'm
see
talking
Pulse.
about?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Aren't there 2 versions of Pulse?
Don't watch the American one.
Okay. Is there a movie called Signal also that's like kind of similar?
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
I am fine, by the way. I'm at least probably not dying like right now. Medication seems to be working, and I'll probably have to manage for the rest of my life, but it is manageable.
Manageable.
That's good, at least. You want to read Mark Hallinan?
Mark Hallinan. I've loved Severance, Andor, and Daredevil, but I think The Pit has so far been the highlight of 2025 for me. I don't think I've ever been as invested in a set of characters as I have been with the ones in this show, and the sheer humanity on display is staggering. From the outset, I thought it would be a simple reboot of ER, but a season later, I think it's set itself apart as a unique version of that concept with much more emphasis on realism and an added focus on the challenges faced by these heroes in what is frankly a less simpler time than the world presented in ER. This may not hold up in the upcoming lawsuit with Michael Crichton's estate, however.
What?
Oh yeah, it's like a Michael Crichton book, wasn't it? The Pit?
ER
or something?
Or The Pit? I don't know.
Or some yeah, I kept hearing Michael Crichton's name thrown around. Weird. I don't know why.
Who's to say?
Something went down.
Let's not talk about him so he doesn't sue us.
Well, he's dead, but
very litigious. Yeah. I mean, I know he's passed, but yeah.
Litigious ghost.
Film-wise, I recently saw a Netflix geezer pleaser that I had no idea existed called Triple Frontier. Yeah, good one.
This geezer is pleased.
Oh, yeah. I think Bigelow might have produced that, or her writer, Mark Bowl, which involved Ben Affleck, Pedro Pascal, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam, and Garrett Hedlund robbing a drug lord of his fortune and the weight the money puts on them in a figurative and, in this case, literal sense as they struggle to travel with 3,500 pounds worth of cash.
Oh.
If you squint, it's almost Coen-esque and well worth a watch. Heck of the cast as well.
Wait, is this Freaky Tales? Is that what you said?
Triple Frontier.
Oh, Triple Frontier. Oh, okay.
It's a good one.
From 2019.
Oh,
Take
okay.
it easy.
Kind of sounded like Freaky Tales there for a moment, which I saw the trailer for. It looks cool, too.
That one sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
Some Pedro Pascal, Coen Brothers-esque, like, drug lord romp. Yeah.
I hope Honey Don't is good, because the other one wasn't great.
Oh, yeah, the Ethan Coen. Yeah, I have to say, seeing them separated, Joel seems like the stronger director. His Macbeth was amazing with
Macbeth
Denzel.
was very strong.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't want to live in a world where they're not just the brothers. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Codalito says, I will preface this with the fact that my wife is with TV shows much like a pregnant woman is with food in that she gets cravings. So right now, we are in the middle of the great True Blood rewatch. Oh, yeah, True Blood. All right, that's a
That was
cozy
fun
one.
for a lot of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sexy. It's as much
Season
dumb
2.
fun as it was 15 years ago. God, 15 years ago.
Wild.
But it also means that I have to put some new stuff like Last of Us Season 2 on hold. Skip it.
Put it on ice.
Skip it.
Yeah, put it on
Yeah,
cold
put it on
Put
storage.
a bullet in its head. Put it in the morgue, dude.
Great.
Skip it, dude.
Nuke it from orbit.
Nuke it. It's the only way to be sure.
Blow it out of the goddamn airlock.
True Blood, I really enjoyed for a lot of it.
Blood's-
Not all of
True
it,
Blood
but
is,
Blood's
yeah,
sick.
I mean,
a lot of it.
definitely
It was
got a little
great.
long in the tooth, maybe.
Yeah.
A long in the fang.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Tell
but-
your wife to watch the Interview with the Vampire TV show if she
Yeah.
hasn't.
Oh, yeah.
'cause it is
That's a good follow-up.
fucking perfect.
Please.
Oh my God,
Um,
tragic and
Comes back- I
funny
think
and
I saw a
beautiful.
poster.
Coming soon.
So how soon?
Like within a couple months, I believe.
Bitch!
What, season 3?
I think so.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm so excited.
I hope I'm not making that
I'm
up.
so excited.
But I didn't dream that.
Season 2 of True Blood was so cool because it had, I don't remember her name. She's been in a billion things, but she was Commander Kane.
26.
You bitch.
She was Commander Kane in Battlestar Galactica, and she's got
yeah.
she was like this witch, I think, in True Blood. She's
Blood
got
was
like dark
fun.
eyes. Yeah, she's so cool.
Maybe I'll like I'll find like a list. I'll take the find a list advice for Clone Wars and find a best episodes list of True Blood and just rewatch those.
Sookie Stackhouse, don't sneak up on a vampire. What do you know better than to sneak up on a vampire, Sookie Stackhouse?
Suke. Suke Stackhouse.
Sookie Stackhouse.
Suke. I had such a crush on Anna Paquin as a kid. Still, she's cute. Currently, I'm going through Andor and loving it, obviously. I also resumed Lazarus now that the Japanese dubs are out, and I must say it's pretty darn good. I agree with Jason Wojnar that it started a bit slow, but then picks up the pace around the third or fourth episode, though I must say the Moonrise on Netflix is on par. Moonrise, I guess, with some really nicely animated action sequences from Studio Wit. Love, Death, and Robots is out with a new season, which is always fun, and my wife and I are also going through Castlevania Nocturne, squeezing in an episode here and there when we don't have time for the full hour of sexy vampires. We also got around to watching the first Omen recently-ish.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
And I was I was pleasantly surprised, even though I had heard mostly good things about it. I thought it was beautiful visually, but kind of trod on well-worn ground, I would say, but gorgeous looking movie. The one with Sydney Sweeney was bad.
Oh, I don't need to see that. It looked
I
terrible.
don't even remember what it was called.
Communion or something.
No.
Some religious shit.
So, yeah, whatever.
Sister Act.
Sister Act 4, I think.
Definitely.
Sister Act 4, let Christ fuck you, or whatever she says.
Let Christ rise.
I do have to say, of movie
Exorcist.
titles, Sister
Back
Act,
in the Habit.
Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit has
Back
to
in
be
the
one of the
Habit
best movie
is
titles of all time.
One of the best movie titles of all time.
Love it. I love
One
Sister
of
Act
the
1
best
too.
of
I
all
love 'em. I love them. 3 is supposed to come out. Kiki Palmer's in there.
Really?
Whoopi
Sister
in there
Act
too?
3.
She's perfect.
Whoopi in
She's
And Whoopi.
Fuck.
Yes,
Oh
it was.
God, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
I'll watch that
Yeah,
opening
I'm
night.
there day one.
Theaters.
Yeah.
IMAX.
Seriously.
Sister Act 3. What could they call it? Oh, we'll have to think about it. Yeah. I don't know.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Get thee to a nunner. Get thee to a nunner 3.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh Jesus. Queued up for when we are done with sexy shenanigans of Sookie Stackhouse. Is Last of Us season 2. Skip it.
Yeah. Put it
The
on
final
ice.
season of Big Mouth, Adolescence, and Fred and Rose West, a British horror story.
Oh, that's the new
Fired
documentary.
up.
I saw a documentary about them a couple years ago. I do not recommend. That is one of the most grotesque crimes ever. Fred and Rose West. Matt, you were saying earlier, unspeakable things. That's this. Unspeakable things.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Adolescence is incredible, though. Classic anime of the month is Gall Force Eternal Story from 1986. I could describe the plot about a spaceship crew from an all-female race, Solenoids, escaping pursuit from an amoeba cyborg race of the Paranoids, but I would probably just sound as I am on board for this. So I'll just suffice with telling you that this is the type of sicko anime fan nonsense that you'll either find in a video store sales bin or eBay for $100. Is it good? Not really. But we are here for the space war action, the 80s soundtrack, and the love of the art. And no, it is not hentai. That's too bad. Just to be crystal clear, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.
But is there nudity? There's got to be a
wanna see a
little.
butt.
You got to see a little boobs.
It's from the 80s, 86.
In an 80s
yeah.
anime, there's probably some
Yeah. God, it
Yeah.
only took 40 comments to finally bring it up. Here we go.
All right, Willie Diaz.
Finally.
Take it.
Mission Impossible was an absolute blast in the theater. Maybe not the strongest story, but the big set pieces reminded me why we love going to the movies.
Tokyo Slim
Absolutely.
sent us a video of him eating popcorn like Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah.
Love it. I don't think it's going to be anybody's favorite
I haven't
Mission
seen it yet. I
Impossible.
haven't seen it. I
I
gotta
don't think it's
see
going
it.
to be anybody's favorite, but it was so fucking good. And I'll say that Dead Reckoning Part 1, when I came out of the theater, I was underwhelmed, and then I rewatched it like 6 months ago, and I was like blown away. I was blown away. Anytime you're dealing with a fucking AI entity thing, it's just weird. And it is weird, and Final Reckoning is weird. But I like that it takes these swings, and I have really, it's really grown on me. That's all I'll say.
Maybe it's
Really grown on me.
Did you rewatch it after you saw the final one?
No.
Okay,
Final one I
okay.
saw like a week ago. It just came out.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like in theaters right now.
Okay, so you
came
just
out.
rewatched it in isolation, and you were like, okay, not so
Well,
bad.
I did my
Yeah.
franchise rewatch
Yeah,
like
okay.
6 months or so ago because I knew that the final one's coming out.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go. Run them all back.
So I didn't hate Dead Reckoning, but I didn't love it because there are honestly worse Mission Impossibles than it. It just wasn't. I didn't think it was incredible, but I was like, it was fun. It was fun.
The previous one or the current one?
I haven't seen the newest one yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Dead Reckoning one, yeah.
Dead Reckoning or the Dead Reckoning one really grew on me the second time. I was
cool.
like,
Yeah,
and I think it's because
I
it's
liked parts of it.
and I think it's because it's really fun.
It's a lot
Fallout-
of fun.
It is so fun, and like I learned that with Rogue Nation on my rewatch too. Is like, everyone, including me, is like, dude, Fallout's the best. Fallout is the fucking culmination. It's easily the best one.
I still like Ghost Prot.
And then I rewatched them all, and it's like, dude, Fallout is like so serious,
It's dour.
so heavy, so dour, and it's like, man. The fun vibe in Mission Impossible is like kind of what it's all about. So it's
Yeah.
like these other ones really grew on me a lot more and like got closer to my Fallout love. Obviously, I still think Fallout is like the best. But
They're all. What I love
Yeah.
about Mission Impossible is like the series on the whole is like so many different highs in different
Yeah.
ways. Like 1 is a fucking amazing movie, and then
Yes.
3 is great
Palmer.
fun, and then
Hoffman.
like Ghost Protocol is a lot of fun. Fallout's
Three
a lot of
is
fun.
awesome.
Three's
Rogue
great.
is one of my
Rogue Nation.
favorites.
I'm gonna find her.
Shockingly, Rogue Nation shot up from like near the bottom to near the top on my
Oh, wow.
rewatch lastly. I was
That's
like,
wild.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Rogue
it's,
Nation?
it's shocking. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. Hey Man Nice Shots. Check out their YouTube. Hey Man Nice Tracks. I think is what it's called. Really fun
Hey, man,
medley.
nice shot. Is it a play on that one song?
I
from
think
It
so.
has to be,
Patrick's
which is
World?
it's a cool play on it for a movie name. Yeah.
They play that song in Tales from the Crypt Demon Night.
Oh
and
my
it
God.
hits.
Is that the one with the skeleton motorcycle guy?
No, it's Billy Zane. Demon Night. Yeah,
okay.
Demon Night.
Hey Man, Nice Shots. As many others, I also just finished season 2 of Andor and loved the hell out of it. Season 1 was really good, but this one just really hit for me. I had a similar feeling with Severance season 1. It was really good, but completely clicked for me in season 2. Every minute was a feast.
Yeah.
In Movieland, I loved Sinners and managed to know very little about it going in, except someone telling me, hey, isn't this the movie about spoilers or something? Really wish I hadn't known that walking in, as the surprise would have been amazing. Yeah.
I don't know the surprise. I haven't seen it yet because I've been sick and working
All right,
2
we
jobs.
won't say anything.
So yeah, I still haven't seen it.
But still excellent film. And keep an eye out for the underexposed wide shots a couple of times.
And keep an eye
I'll
out for
clock
a
'em.
seat in the IMAX.
Yeah, try.
Do that. This is an IMAX
it is
movie.
a good. You got to see this movie in a good theater with
gotta
good
do it.
sound, if nothing else.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Cool.
Entertaining from start to finish. I also just watched Blackberry, and you know what? I've come to realize I just love fast-paced fun, loosely based on reality biopics. I'd never spontaneous. I want to see this because it's made by the Nirvana, the band, The Show guy, and I think he's really funny.
It looks really cool the way
But
it's shot.
I know nothing about this movie. Yeah,
The trailer
except for
is
that, everyone
cool.
loves it. I'd never spontaneously think of it as my favorite genre, but with classics such as Wolf of Wall Street or The Big Short, I was just thinking The Big Short and like Spotlight are like fucking amazing.
Yeah, so good.
They're never the kinds of movies that I would think to put on, but then Sophia's like, let's watch Spotlight. And I'm like, that sounds intense. And then she's like, it's great. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Fuck yeah.
It's definitely up there. I've watched both at least 5 times, and they don't lose their impact. Blackberry doesn't quite hit as hard as those two, but it's still an entertaining watch. Now, in closing, I feel like I need to talk about Fear Street Prom Queen. Here we go.
No.
Even though it's the exact opposite of this month's theme, I was very hyped as the previous trilogy is one of my biggest surprises the past years, and they're all excellently made. Not so for Prom Queen, because for me, it felt like a complete train wreck. It's boring as hell, the plot is overly simple, the twist is stupid and predictable, the acting is horrible, the movie looks actually ugly, the cinematography is just bad, with some awful blocking, it looks like a cheap straight-to-DVD, and trying to emulate an 80s style is not an excuse. There's zero tension, and they didn't even have the decency to put in entertaining kills.
That's what I've heard.
Or really any, like,
Characters.
subversive, like, because the power, some of the powerful stuff in the original trilogy is, like, how sensitively it deals with characters that are having a non-standard struggle, you know? Like, in that case, it's homosexuality, but like in this, it doesn't have to necessarily be that every time. But I'm just saying, like, none of the characters have anything going on at all.
Crazy.
Like, one of them like seems kind of gay, and she's like into the other character, but nothing comes of that. And I'm probably just, I don't know. I read lesbians and everything, but no entertaining kills. Sorry for trashing this so hard. I agree with you, but it's I was so incredibly disappointed. I was actively waiting for it to be over. But to end on a positive note, to wash away the bad taste, I rewatched the Fear Street trilogy, which is still absolutely excellent. Love and respect, and take care. Yeah, the Fear Street trilogy, I showed it to my sister the last Halloween or something. And, like, my sister has a much lower screen tolerance than I do. Like, she doesn't look at her phone ever. She doesn't play video games for more than, like, 40 minutes at a time. Rarely at all plays them. Doesn't really like to watch a lot of TV or anything. But I showed her Fear Street. And after the first one, she's like, can we watch the next one? And I was like, hell yeah. And we watched the next one. She's like, well, we got to finish it. And I was like, hell yeah, baby, let's go. Yeah, it was great. You know you got to hit if Anya Hink wants to watch 3 movies in a row.
It's badass.
Garrett Hallfish, I've had a good streak with movies lately. So I'll talk about 3 of them. Death of a Unicorn was hilarious comedy that felt like a slightly more horror Jurassic Park. That's good. I was unsure of if it would be good by the trailer. While Paul Rudd is surprisingly underutilized, Jenna Ortega and Will Poulter are memorable in their roles. It's an eccentric ride that feels like it needs a second watch to catch all the jokes. Novocaine.
She needs a different agent. Her movie.
She's in everything. I think
And
they're
not
just like,
good.
get it while it's good. Just get this one,
Yeah,
take this
go,
one,
go,
take this
go.
one.
Yeah.
Get paid for sure.
But she's so good and popular that I feel like she could be selective. I think maybe some
Yeah.
people are just like, you don't know when it's going to disappear. Take these roles, get them. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Novocaine looked like a silly action movie, and it delivered the premise of a protagonist that feels no pain, never gets old, and it's fun to see how they stretch this idea past where I expected it to go. I kept wincing in the best way. Blink Twice sat on my list for a while, but I wish I'd seen it sooner. I highly recommend going in blind, but there are definitely some trigger warnings needed. This is
there is at the beginning of the movie, actually.
There's a trigger warning
at the beginning of the movie. It's
wow.
rough. It's a rough.
Yeah,
watch,
Sophia watched it and she said it was like really intense. She didn't think I would like it. Probably.
It's a good movie though. It's a good movie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And where was it? I haven't watched much TV as I'm still trying to work through the entire Daredevil CU in release order. It's way longer than I realized.
So much longer. It's so long.
After Daredevil Season 1 and Jessica Jones Season 1, every show kind of fumbles the second half of their season when they enter the second arc. Also, The Hand is a total miss, and it was rough going through multiple seasons of shows focusing on the organization.
I always felt like a dickhead because I was always tooting the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hype, and everyone's like, Daredevil's the best of all time. I'm like, dude, Daredevil fucking drags. Daredevil fucking drags.
Like, I stopped watching eventually, but like anytime it cut to Foggy and Hot Girl, the story just like slams on the brakes.
It drags.
Oh. Thankfully, Punisher was better than I expected it to be and got the quality back on course, and I'm on Jessica Jones Season 2 now, and hopefully the quality remains. I liked Jessica Jones.
All the Jessica Jones seasons. Yeah. I like both Punisher seasons.
I only saw Season 1, I think.
I like Daredevil Season 1 and 3.
Holy shit. I just saw something. There's some hits coming in this one. Okay. Paul Rogers. If I'm not too late, I'll mention my recent watches. At the cinema, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning could easily lose 40 minutes. A complete mess of a film, staggeringly dull, but two incredible action set pieces.
No, it's going to age well.
Lilo and Stitch, one of the better Disney remakes, but just watch the cartoon. The Phoenician Scheme, as a fan of Wes Anderson, I found myself getting incredibly angry while watching it, extremely indulgent, with none of the heart of his best films. Every line of dialogue is delivered with perfect metronomic precision, but absolutely no emotion. Wow.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Everyone who's a fan of Wes Anderson eventually kind of hits saturation point.
Yeah,
and it's a different point for everyone. It really is. It's so interesting to watch where it happens, and sometimes you'll get roped back in. Because, I was already starting to get turned off, but then, Grand Budapest brought me back in, and I was like, oh shit, he still got it. And I'm hoping Phoenician Scheme might be okay for me, and I respect your criticism, because you've seen it, and I haven't. But I'm always hoping, he's got another cute one in him.
He hits or misses for different people in really interesting ways. I remember a lot of people saying about Asteroid City that it's, self-parody, but to me, it was, obviously on purpose for that one. It's a play within a play within a play, and it's I read it as he was making fun of himself a little, but I don't know. I didn't really watch his Netflix ones. I only watched, 3 of them.
He definitely has gotten to the point where he is commenting on his style a lot, and he's very meta. Even Grand Budapest was about that. It was about caring about things in the world that are ornate and if they're worth saving or not. That was part of the message of the movie, and a lot of his movies started to become about what he's doing as an artist, and it's you either find that interesting now as part of his work or you don't. The French Dispatch had a lot of stuff about artists in it. I liked
2/3 of the French Dispatch.
yeah, some of those miniature stories were working and some weren't. And Wes Anderson
the one with Timothée Chalamet didn't hit for me, but Leah Seydoux, you can't beat that. And then Jeffrey Wright, that story I thought was just great. But.
Yeah, after Gene Hackman died, I think it was after he died, we rewatched Royal Tenenbaums, and it still is so amazing. It's so good. And I was a lover of his early work. I just mentioned Bottle Rockets earlier. Yeah. Bottle Rocket earlier is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think just people fall in love with different ones. And I'd be curious, what was the name of this person who wrote it? I got him mixed up from earlier. It was
Paul
Rogers.
Life Aquatic
Paul
was
Rogers.
my favorite.
Yeah, Life Aquatic is so good. My dad.
A lot of people hate it.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people's least favorite.
My dad was in
I
the.
fucking love it.
My dad was in the Navy. He was like a sonarman on submarines.
Oh, wow.
And like there's definitely a connection for me there on like how do you connect to a father who maybe was like away for a lot of time, and you have like a conflicting relationship with, and I just found like I related so much to that movie. I thought it was a great movie.
I love it, yeah.
I thought he was like, "Can I call you Dad now?" And he's like, "Maybe you can just call me." What does he say? Something.
Yeah, he has like a nickname or something.
Yeah. Maybe you can just call me Stevesy or something. Like that.
Stevesy, but you can call me Stevesy.
Yeah. I love that. But I think it's so interesting to me, the different movies that people connect to with them. And Phoenician Scheme, I'm just like, I always have my fingers crossed. This will be the one that ropes me back in. So
what was the last one?
The most recent one?
Asteroid City was before
City,
that.
And then there were some Netflix ones, and
I
they're
saw
like
the Asteroid one
Ratcatcher
in the
and stuff.
theater. It was okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
The one, though, I recently rewatched it, and like it still didn't hit for me. It's the only one of his movies I dislike. And it's Fantastic Mr. Fox just doesn't work for me.
Oh, I like that one.
I don't know.
But there's a bunch I dislike
Dogs.
now. Yeah.
Final Destination Bloodlines, absolute blast. Shame about the CGI, but still hilariously entertaining. Nicely builds out the lore and has some great kills. At home, watched Escape from Alcatraz, weirdly topical
One of
now.
my favorite movies of all time.
Interesting to see how much Shawshank and the Green Mile borrowed from it.
Ever.
The Cell 4K, dude. Terrific
Badass.
visuals and a great supporting cast. Can't do enough to get over wooden, uncharismatic performances from Jennifer Lopez. Listen, it's not about the acting. It's about the cutting horses into small slices.
It's about the vibe.
I love The Cell. I mean, I haven't watched it since I was a goth teenager, but I got to see it again. The Gambler, James Caan, is a suitably scummy character in White Privilege, the movie. A teacher gets in debt to the mob, so begs his wealthy mom for money. Gets it, but fucks that up, so sells out one of his black students' athletic careers to the mob to save his hide. Jesus. The movie is solid, but has a very weird ending. Seems disconnected from everything else we've watched. That's most of the recent stuff. Been a mixed bag, but looking forward to June at the cinema. Last one, Hubie, take it.
Zorgla! I saw Mission Impossible Final Reckoning yesterday and have never been more impressed and disappointed at the same time. That was one of my takes, actually. It's so funny. It is really divisive. One of my takes was when it was over, I was like, that movie barely pulled into the station. It was like
One step forward, one step back.
This movie is almost bad, but I still loved it in the end. It was like, it's almost, are we going to be bad? No, we're good.
It's like a 6 or a 7.
Oh, I think it's like an 8, like a really, really good 8. It's a good movie.
Okay.
The dialogue and parts of the plot border on...
It's super rocky and it barely pulled into the station, but it's a really good 8.
It is, because it's weird. It takes
what?
swings. It's fucking weird. It's doing things that only it does, obviously. Stunts. Like, you've got Tom Cruise in there. You've got, like, a whole franchise of emotions and your life tied to it. Like, there's a lot working for it.
All right. Pull us into the station. I gotta pee.
Yeah. The dialogue and parts of the plot border on satirically dumb, and there's questionable editing choices throughout, but at the same time, the stunts and actions are so well done that it's impossible to be bored. Things hold together just well enough to end the franchise on a good note, and I recommend it to pretty much all action movie fans.
Okay.
I agree.
All right.
The expectations are just like insanely high.
Oh, yeah.
Please, no more rogue AI stories, though. It really grew on me.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
think that, like...
Yeah.
It is not the best Mission Impossible, but seriously, there are some moments in that movie that are just really not even the stunts. It's just like really good commentary on things. Not like, I don't want to say anything.
I look forward to seeing it.
It's a good movie.
I gotta, after SGF, hopefully it's still in theaters and I'll go see it.
It's good.
That's gonna do it for this month. Thank you. This is a longer one. Thanks for joining us on this little sojourn into the world of cinema and TV. Thanks, Matt. I hope you're feeling better.
I'm on the way there.
Cured
Yeah.
you?
I got Ballerina coming out tonight. I get to see
that's
John
tonight?
Wick kill some people in a movie theater. That's
shit.
going to be nice.
Oh, you're gonna love
My
that.
boy Norman Reedus is going to have a big month with Death Stranding and Ballerina.
Oh, yeah.
The month of Norman.
Norman Reedus, dude.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Hubie. Check us out on patreon.com/reactionshots. $3. You can join this conversation. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Thank
Tell your
you all
friends.
who are
Thank you
participating.
for watching and
We're
listening.
grateful.
And we will see you next month for another episode of Reaction Shots. Bye.
Farewell.